What is up, Finesse family? How's everybody doing today, guys? What is up? What is up? This is Mrs. B Finesse of millennialfinessemindset.com. Guys, and I'm so excited today because we're going to be talking about a topic that we've touched on before, but we're going to get heavy into it. Last week we talked about Wealth and Success Week. This week we're going to linger on with it, but we're going to do health as well. All right, we're going to have conversations, let's talk conversations this whole week, but today we're going to focus on health, how health is wealth. You guys are going to get a plethora of information about the different things you should have in your house, from a healthcare provider, a registered nurse. We're going to have so much information to give you guys, little things that you don't even pay attention to that you need to watch in your lifestyle, guys. So let's get the party started here, guys. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. And let me let you guys know what Finesse stands for. Here we go. All right, guys. So I'm so excited today about this conversation we're going to have. We're going to have a special guest on. Her name is Candid Ann. She is going to go in depth about the different things that we need as far as things that have in our household, guys. There's things that I didn't even realize that you should have in your household that you don't have to wait to go to the doctor to do. These are things that you can have to be prepared for your family, things that you can have to make sure that your family is set. And she's going to break all those things down, guys. Special shout out, guys. We are working towards hitting that subscriber goal of 500, guys. We're almost there. So make sure, guys, if you're listening to this, that you are sharing this, guys. We just went from 300 about 2 or so weeks ago to almost 500 now. And what I would like you guys to do is share this with 3 to 5 people in your network. And make sure you guys go back and watch 3 to 5 videos. It is important that you guys watch the videos and you comment under them. This is how YouTube pushes us new YouTubers in the algorithm. This is how we get pushed out so we can be seen. So it is really important. Make sure you guys just don't do drive-by likes. Make sure you guys actually watch the video. That helps out a lot, guys. So also, guys, shout out to the sponsors of last stream. The top sponsors were Mrs. Shayla and Big Bad Bull. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring the last stream. I appreciate that. Luscious Journey too. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. All right, guys. So let's get into this conversation. You guys are already in the chat. Cool. All right. We have Big Bad Bull. He's saying, hey, Mrs. B Finesse. We have Before the Billions. He's saying salute, big sis. Guys, yes, hit the like button on the way in, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. This is great information for you guys. Greetings, everyone. Hey, Kingsway Gardening. Thank you for being here. Hope you're having a good day, guys. Make sure you put 1 in the chat. So I know you guys can hear me. Make sure you guys are putting 1 in the chat to make sure you guys can hear me clearly. And we're going to bring up our guest today. All right, guys, let's bring her up. Here we go. This is Mrs. Candid Ann. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me well?
Yes, you
Okay,
sound
great.
excellent. You sound excellent. How was your day today?
It was mostly a relaxed day. I worked last night, so it was extremely hectic, but I'm okay. I'm here and I'm ready to talk. Let's talk. Yeah, that's what this
Great.
is called, right? Let's talk.
Yes, we're going to call this week Let's Talk session. All
Okay.
right. So I'm so excited about it. So, Candid Ann, when you hear the phrase health is wealth, what does that mean to you when you hear that?
So, so I've been, as you guys know, I'm a registered nurse. And when I think about health as wealth, I have my patients, they are extremely wealthy people here in Connecticut, and they are homeless people. And at the end of the day, when it boils down to your heart conditions, your diabetes, your whatever it is, it your heart doesn't care how much money you have in the bank. So at the end of the day, the equator in this all is that we're all humans. We all have to take care of our bodies. So when I think about health is wealth, you really, really, no matter who you are, there are things that you can do to take better care of yourself, all of us. And so it really, like I said, doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. Now, how much money you have in the bank can afford you certain things, right? It afford you private doctors and things like that. But I'm talking about is just some basic things, some really super basic things that anybody can do.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I know, Candid Ann, when we talked, you wanted me to make sure that I was focusing on things that had to do with
Hmm.
cardiovascular. Why
Yes.
is that focusing on that system so important for us?
Okay, so since I've been a nurse, I've spent the majority of my time in medical surgical, which is just a generic, I'm not feeling well, I'm getting admitted to the hospital. And then I spent a good chunk of time in the cardiovascular, heart and vascular space. And the reason why I really, really, really want to talk about cardiovascular health is because it is literally the leading cause of death
Oh
in
wow,
America. Like,
wow,
so we can go to I have a link here from the CDC. And it's easy to find. It's not that hard at all. Just the leading cause of death year after year after year after year is heart disease, cancer, and accidents and unintentional accidents. But heart disease wins out year after year after year. And these are things
wow.
that we can avoid, you
You
know,
know what,
so like,
Candid Ann? Can you
mhm.
go ahead and share your screen, because I know you
Okay.
might think people know it, but some people have no clue. So
Okay.
we're gonna share your screen as you're talking. So there's key things that you know you want the audience to see and
Sure.
hear. We'll
Sure.
have that up for you.
All right,
So
let me do that right now.
yes, once
Here
again,
we
guys, if
go.
you're just coming in, we have Mrs. Candid Ann. She is a
Mhm.
registered nurse, and she is here to give us all things dealing with health being wealth. All right, guys, we're so focused on wealth and accumulating it, but what is that if you don't have a healthy body, healthy lifestyle? So she's going to touch base and give it to
Right.
us in the most basic way that you guys can help yourself and your
Okay.
family be prepared and have things, especially in this season of pandemic and everything going on. She's going to lay it out, guys. So let me share the screen that she's going to have.
Are you
And
able
as
to
she's,
see it?
yeah, can you see it? You should be able to see it too.
Okay. Okay, yes. There we
Okay, so I'm
go.
going to put you up with it. Okay, so you can go ahead and explain what you were going to say.
I mean, so this is just basically from the CDC. This isn't something that I've had to find too far. It's basically reporting from the CDC. And year after year, we see right here heart disease. Look at that number,
Let me make
heart
that
disease.
bigger.
Then right after that is cancer. And look at the big drop between these two and the next one,
Wow.
right? And heart disease is also related to stroke, also related to, they say also Alzheimer's disease. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely related to diabetes and definitely related to kidney disease, which is nephritis, nephrotoxic syndrome, and nephrosis. All those basically, when you don't have good heart, it affects your kidneys. So
What?
this right
Wow.
here, this right here, this right here, and this right here are all and stroke. I didn't forget. It's all intermingled. So
Wow.
those are huge, huge, huge numbers, huge
Interesting.
numbers. And the thing that bothers me, Miss Beef, and it's the thing that really, really gets me. If I continue on to the CDC and I look at, can you see this link here also? The
Yep.
health of Black or African American non-Hispanic population. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
We come down here and we look at the obesity rate for men 20 years of age and older, 38.7, right? And this is really, really a tough pill to swallow here.
So
Women,
that's like 40% of the
for our
African
men,
American males are obese.
but if that doesn't take you, look at this one here. Women
What?
over 55.9. Now, if I click on the
Wow.
side here where I talk about Indian Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic, Mexican, white, no numbers.
Wow.
There are no numbers that are as high as these two. And that bothers me.
That
That
bothers
bothers
me
me.
too. I hope you guys are understanding. People listening now in the chat on the replay, how serious
Hmm.
cardiovascular health is. Go ahead,
Yes.
Canada, and break it down, because this, if those numbers don't get your mind boggling, I don't know what will. Go ahead. You have the rest of the floor.
So, do I still need to share my screen here? Or do you want me to? Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can always take it off and bring it on when you're ready.
Oh, okay. See, I'm
Yep.
learning too. So the thing here, so when you asked me to talk about this, so I have, as many of you guys might know me as Candid Ann on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for a while, and I've spoken about like becoming a nurse because I shared that journey with a lot of people. I became a nurse later on in life, and I talk about that. I'm kind of transparent with a lot of different things, talking about
Yes.
becoming a nurse as an older adult and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really, once I became a nurse, my video stopped because I felt like I was going to be talking to no one. I'd be talking to deaf ears. And so oftentimes on my channel, I talk about other subjects. I talk about other things that like interest me that I think people will be interested in also. But it hurts and it bothers me that I don't have, I'm so frustrated with my community, so frustrated with Americans that I feel like it's not worth it sometimes to come on here and tell people what they need to know because I don't think they're interested in knowing about their own self. So when you asked me to come on here, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and try. We'll see how this. I hope you prove me wrong. I hope you prove me wrong. So at any rate, yeah, we spoke about the importance of why so many people are dying, right? And interestingly enough, I'm not sure if anyone in your chat, if they are into bodybuilding. I saw before the billions, he was working out. I saw his little video working out at the gym on three
Anybody in
hours
the
of
chat
sleep.
like bodybuilding?
Yeah.
If you do, put one in the chat
Does
because she's
anyone
gonna
know
give us
Cali
some
Muscle?
Yeah, she's gonna give us some interesting updates on people. Anybody
Yeah,
know Cali Muscle in the chat? If you do, put one. Cali Muscle is
yes,
his name.
CALI Muscle. At any rate, even whether you know him or not, he's very, very popular. He's my
Yes.
age. He's 46 years old. And he recently had a heart attack just last week. Now, I'm going to pull up his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Can
bring
you
him
see
up
it?
for the people on the replay. You got to share the screen again because you
Oh, I got
took
to
it
do it
down last
every time.
time.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, guys. So we're gonna do and when people think about bodybuilding, what Candid Ann is about to show you is a juxtaposition between how you can think you're doing healthy things, but it's not. So I'm gonna let her kind of explain this since it's her profession.
So this is Cali Muscle right here. Wonderful black guy, super nice. He's gone through a lot of different things in life. He's been incarcerated at some point, but really turned his life around. Positive influence, bodybuilding, and you'll see him here in the hospital. And the video, which I won't play it because I don't want to mess up your channel or anything like that, but it's called "I Almost Lost My Life" because he had a heart attack. And so let me just stop. Hold on. You'll see him here.
Yeah, there we go. We can see him.
You could see him. I'm trying to find like a super buff video of him. Like he just had a baby. He shares a lot about his life. And if you look him up, you'll see him like just ripped, absolutely just ripped. Right. And still he had a heart attack. The reason why I bring this up, I'm going to stop sharing this particular screen. How do I do that? Did you do it for me?
Oh, I can tell you. Yeah.
Okay.
Now nobody can see it, so you can do what you're doing on your own.
The reason why I want to share that is because when I talk about cardiovascular health and being healthy, and I'm going to go into specifics, I don't want people to think that I'm only talking to like obese people, or I'm only speaking to people that like need to lose weight. You know, I'm talking about unhealthy lifestyles. And Cali Muscle, even though he is, like, if you look at him, he is a muscle bound man. He was living an unhealthy lifestyle by going to the next extreme, taking steroids, not watching what he ate. Even though he was muscle bound and going to the gym, his food wasn't right. In addition to that, if you listen to that video, they're telling things that he talks about. He talks about having edema for years. Edema is basically swelling in your legs. Like if you were to press your finger into your leg, your fingerprint will be left inside there. He talks about that. He talks about how the doctors would tell him, oh, you got a little something going on with your heart. Our labs, they're showing us this problem, that problem. And he ignored it year after year after year. He ignored it. And 3 videos, you'll see him 3 days prior, you'll see him buying a new car. I think he bought a Lamborghini. He had no problem buying the Lamborghini, but he thought the doctor was trying to take his money. Right?
Oh my goodness.
And so it's a frequent thing that a lot of us feel like in our community. We don't trust the hospitals, we don't trust doctors, and we're not willing to spend the money on ourselves in order to be healthy. But we don't have a problem spending money on a car, getting rims. And I'm not telling you don't do that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you that you are so much more worth your car. Like, you are so much more worth the rims. Like, your body is so much worth more than those kind of things, that I want us. I'm not just talking to, I'm not talking about looking good on the outside. I'm talking about being good. I'm not talking about trying to look good for a man or trying to look good for a woman. I'm talking about being healthy to live long for your children, so that you can pass on your wisdom to your kids. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm focused on. So that's really where this conversation is going. I know oftentimes we talk about, you know, we want to find a man, so we got to look good, we got to keep it right, keep it tight. That's there's there's value there also, right? I'm not going to take anything away from that, but I'm talking about longevity. I'm talking about living well. I'm talking about being older and still being able to walk up and down the stairs and not having to use a walker if possible. Still being able to do your own grocery shop, do your live and live well. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And be
So
intentional with it.
you have to be. You absolutely have to be. And so Callie is 46 years old, right? He had
Okay.
a heart attack. They gave him a life vest. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. Basically, a life vest is a defibrillator. Like, you're walking around with a defibrillator on, which is
Wow.
scary. Which is scary. So
Yeah.
I believe there's more to. He's gonna. I believe he's going to talk about more, because whenever in the hospital somebody comes in with a life vest, there's a lot more going on than just one stent that was needed. But I'll let him to tell his
Wow.
story in due time. But when I think about the fact that he was 46 years old and had a heart attack, and he's a muscle bound guy, which is why I'm using him so much as an example. A wonderful guy, a really nice guy, open, nice, and he had a heart attack. And he's not the only one. He's not the only bodybuilder. There's a many bodybuilders. I think there was another one called Sean Roden. He recently died. He
Oh,
was
wow.
also 46, and I think he won Mr. Olympia, believe it or not. Won
I
Mr.
remember hearing
Olympia.
about that one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what did he
You
die of?
Heart attack.
Oh my
A freaking heart
goodness.
attack, because it's a really
Gracious.
unhealthy lifestyle. And so and when we take that and we put it to the background of our mind, I want to talk about someone that people know about. It might seem a little corny.
Right.
Okay. It might seem a little corny. Just rock with me. But I'm talking about longevity. Someone that lived to 96 years old, that was exercising, able bodied, mind was right, his cognitive ability was right. He was able to do everything he wanted to do up until the day before he died. Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne. Do you guys
Oh,
remember Jack
okay.
LaLanne? That old man that was always exercising? If you don't remember Jack LaLanne, another one who's still alive in her 80s, Jane Fonda. I think she's like 86, 80, something like that. Jane Fonda. You remember Jane Fonda from back in the days with her little exercise videos talking about eating healthy and exercising. And another one, right? Sweating to the oldies. If you're of my generation, you know Richard Simmons. He's also 80 something years old.
Oh, I know who that
You know
is.
who Richard Simmons is?
My
Yeah.
mom used to play that all the time.
Sweating to the oldies. And he would have
Yeah,
a
my mom used
variety
to
of
play that all the
people.
time. I used to love hearing that when I was little.
Yeah, he'll have his little sweating to the oldest.
Oh,
He
shout
didn't
out! I
have
don't
to
know
do
who this
anything
is.
crazy.
Somebody just bought me a coffee.
Oh, nice,
Sorry,
nice.
Kennedy. I like to shout out the supporters. I don't know who Pow Ho he whoever. Thank you. Somebody bought 5 coffees. I appreciate that.
Oh, fabulous.
But anyways, the point of that, Candid Ann, is that I want you to get into. Hopefully, this isn't derailing you, but I really want to get
No.
into specifics because a lot of men love lifting weights, Candid, and a lot of men
Yes.
love getting to that muscle bound
Right.
ideal look. Why was that bad with the bodybuilders? What about what they did was so bad? Was it
So
something they did as far as health, or were they taking medicines or taking something to get there?
yeah, a lot of them won't tell you this, but a lot of them do take steroids. And if you don't
Oh,
need
okay.
steroids, if you're not prescribed steroids because you have some kind of pulmonary issue, then you really shouldn't be on them. A lot of them, when you start off exercising, in the beginning, you're going to see a lot of transformation. You're going to be shredding, you're going to be seeing a lot of changes. But at a certain point, you plateau, and they want to keep those gains going. And so they turn to steroids and different things. And those steroids, not only does it make your muscles grow, but your heart is a muscle. And so you can't see it on the inside, but your heart is getting bigger and bigger. And that's not a good thing. Right. So it's the same kind of a thing where, like, when you're super overweight and your heart is using extra force to get blood to this bigger body, as opposed to similar to these people who are taking steroids and forcing their muscles to grow. They're also unfortunately making their heart grow as well. That's a really layman's kind of way of explaining it. I'm not like going all super scientific and stuff like that, but you know what's wrong with it, it's not the exercising, it's the steroid use, it's the unhealthy diet. You can't just eat a bunch of protein and go to the gym and thinking that your cardiovascular health is going to be okay. You're going to make muscle, but unfortunately you're also making atherosclerosis, which is basically plaque in your veins. And after a certain while, when that plaque
Wow.
builds up and builds up and builds up, it leads to a blockage, and that's when you get cardiac you get either a heart attack or full-on cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest is no beating. Your heart has stopped, right? A heart attack means that you had an unnatural beat. Your heart is supposed to lub dub, lub dub, lub dub. And if it doesn't lub dub in that rhythm, if it starts doing something outside of that normal lub dub, I'm being really, really super simple, is basically along the lines of, a heart attack. Cardiac
Wow.
arrest is what you see on, I guess, those movies where it just flatlines, you have nothing. Okay, so it's the difference between those two. But the reason why I brought up Kylie Muscle and Jack LaLanne is because, Kelly Muscle is an influencer. He's here on YouTube. A lot of people know him. He's not the only one. Sean Roden, he literally is Mr. America, Mr. I think Olympia. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Olympia. And these are Black men that both had, I mean, the first guy died. He didn't even make it to get a second chance. He didn't even make it, which is crazy. Like 46 years old, and you're thinking about like fact that you die already at 46. That's crazy. A heart attack at 46. That's crazy, especially when you look at him. You're like, my God, he must know about health. He's so big. He's so muscular.
Exactly.
He got the six pack. He's got the
Exactly.
traps. He's got all that kind of stuff. Right? That's why I really want to emphasize the importance on health, not just looking good for a man, looking good to get these girls, looking good for anyone other than health. Right? And so why I brought up Jack LaLanne, Jane Fonda, and Richard Simmons, the three things that those people have in common is daily exercise and eating right. And they have lived, they're in their 80s. Jack LaLanne lived till he's 96. He was exercising, from what they say, the day before. He died of a pneumonia.
Wow.
No heart disease, and just a healthy diet, that's the rough part. The rough part is being consistent and eating right and stuff like that. So that's a whole thing. There's no secret, no fit tea, there's no cabbage diet. It's just basically a healthy, balanced diet. I know we got all
Right.
kinds of tricks and tips and nonsense that we try to do, but at any rate, it's no surprise. It's just basically a healthy diet, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what a healthy diet might look like for some of you
What it
guys.
looks
But
like.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Oh, and it was Kingsway Garden. Thank you, Kingsway Garden, and I appreciate it because the names come up different. She said she was the
Oh,
one. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you enjoy the content.
yay.
You know what? I've tried different type of things, Candid, and I've tried. What is that one called? The paleo. I've tried
Yeah.
the one guy. What is he talking about? Where you talk? I forget what it was. It's a guy Gunther, and the Mediterranean diet. So I've tried different. I try not to do diets. That was like when I was in my 20s because
Yeah.
I try to focus on Candid and lifestyle. When I figured out
Right.
it's a lifestyle, it made it so much more easier. So can you kind of tell
Right.
us what the best ways to eat are, or just kind of lead us to where you think the right way is from what you've seen as a nurse?
Okay, so because I'm here on YouTube and because of what I've seen dealing with, like directly dealing with people that need to get a stent, coming back from a stent, having to do CPR right before you get a cabbage. A cabbage is a coronary artery bypass graft, like directly working with these people. One thing that I have seen in common is basically an unhealthy diet, processed foods, lots of soda, sugary drinks, and smoking. Smoking will lead to a heart attack. I don't care how much
Really?
running you do. Smoking is a huge, because people think, oh, I feel great. I'm not, and I still smoke a
I've
pack a
heard
day.
that.
Or what.
I've heard that.
Smoking will lead you to a heart attack, not just cancer, but a
Wow.
heart attack, because smoking has nicotine inside of it, and that nicotine constricts your cardiac vessels, and it makes it more difficult for blood to flow. So it makes the workload of the heart much more difficult. So if you're smoking, you know, that's a huge thing also. But what I've seen when I look up and when I've done research thinking like what is Jacqueline, Jane Fonda, Richard Simmons, forget even, let's put those people to the side. Let's look at who is living longest in the
Right.
world.
Right.
Like literally, I Googled what countries have the longest longevity in terms of life. What do they have in common? We're looking at
That's smart.
Japan. We're
That's
looking
actually
at,
smart to
because
do.
like, yeah, like what are they doing that we're
Right.
not doing here in America? And they usually have what's called a Mediterranean diet. Okay. So I do have a link right here. I'm gonna pull, do I share my screen again?
Sure will. You have it up. I'm gonna add this to the
Yeah.
stream. There we go. We
Can you
still got
see the
Cali muscle
pyramid?
up. No, you
Oh,
have Cali
okay.
up muscle up.
Okay,
You
so
can
hold
go
on a
into the
second.
screen with him and just change the Cali muscle screen, and I'll just keep putting that up.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then you
I'll
don't have
go
to keep
into,
resharing. Yeah, guys. So if you're just getting in, yeah, it's just like Vaughn said. We have the awesome Candid Ann here. She's a personality on YouTube already. She has a big channel, and she so graciously said that she would come on my channel specifically to talk about
oops.
how health is wealth. And so she's here talking about that, guys. She is a registered nurse, and she's here giving us all the key insight and details, explaining it in simple ways so that even the most basic understanding can get it, guys. And if you didn't, Vaughn says, did you accidentally forget to hit the like button? It's okay,
Hey.
do it now. So make sure you guys do that. I love Vaughn's little sayings and colloquialisms. He is an awesome mod. Thank you, Vaughn. I appreciate you. Moments with
Okay.
Mickey Red. She says this is very interesting. So without further ado, make sure you guys hit the like button. Please share this with people. We are trying to help
Yeah.
people, and subscribe if you haven't. All right, Candid, and you have the floor. Let me bring that
Okay.
up.
Can you
Okay.
see the screen here? Whoops. The Mediterranean diet pyramid. Okay, great. So this is not something that I created. This is something that, please do the research. I tell people all the time, don't believe me. I'm just a face on YouTube, right? How do you know I'm really a registered nurse, even though that information is public? Don't trust me. Go and look it up yourself. Go
Always.
do your Google, do whatever you have to do, but just do
Yes.
something. Okay,
Yes.
please. And so here we go. We have a Mediterranean diet. And at the very bottom, this is the thing that they want to see the most. Every day, be physically active, enjoy meals with others. They want you, you'll see little pictures here of people dancing, people walking together, playing sports. Just make it a community activity. And if you can't, if you don't have a community, find a community. If no one in your house wants to do it, you can do apps. I think I've seen I think it's called Ultimate Fitness. I'm not 100% sure. He has this app. It's called Zwift, where you have a little avatar and you can be on your bicycle.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's in his house by himself, but he's running with others around the world.
Oh,
Find,
neat.
so community doesn't have to be people in your neighborhood. You can listen, we're living in a social media age, right? Find a community. You can sign up for different apps and join a community and do a walking challenge, do an exercise challenge. But the important thing here is just to be physically active most of the week. There, some people will tell you at least 4 times a day, 5 times a day. Just do it as often as possible. I would prefer it to be 5 times a day, but I understand people work. Just don't do it once a day, okay? Once a week, rather. You want to do it 3, 4, 5 times a week if possible, right? Then after that, exercise we have here every day. You have here, these are the base things that they want you to eat. The majority of your meal should be vegetables, fruits, whole wheat grain, olive oil, beans, nuts, legumes, and seeds, herbs, and spices. And that's the majority of what the people that are living the longest, right? Living to 80s. Most of them are 80s, living well, not just alive in the hospital, but I'm talking about living well. They're exercising, and these are the foods that they're eating. Okay, when it comes to protein, at least twice a week, they want you to have fish and seafood. And be careful with the shrimp. Shrimp does have a lot of cholesterol in it. Lobster, like shellfish, does have some cholesterol inside of it. So when you're thinking about fish, and seafood, you want to say, I don't want to say you want to stay clear of shrimp or whatever, but it's just keep in mind that shrimp has a bit of cholesterol. So does lobster and shellfood like that, shellfish. But you definitely want to have, because they have wonderful, healthy omega-3 fatty acids, which you need. We absolutely need omega-3 fatty acids in our body to function properly. And getting even smaller and smaller up that pyramid, we have chicken, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. And the least often, meat, especially red meat, and sweets. We're not saying that you can't ever have it. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I know we're about to get down with the food, but it's supposed to be less often. Okay. In addition to that, on the side here, you'll see wine. I love wine in moderation. And every single day, Every single day, we ought to be drinking water, right? And so that's what a Mediterranean diet is. And you can look that up. You can, I'll stop sharing the screen from here. Are you still there? I don't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. I just muted
Oh,
myself. No,
oh,
and
okay.
you don't have to worry about stop sharing anything. I can
Oh,
control it
okay.
because I
Oh,
want you to be
okay.
prepared when you start talking
Oh,
about
okay.
stuff.
Great.
So I'll just
Yeah.
remove it, and then you can
Okay.
keep using that screen whenever you want to show us anything, and I'll bring
Oh,
it back when
okay.
you're ready. So
Okay.
okay, so if you're just coming in, guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like
Hmm.
button. We are having an excellent conversation with the registered nurse, Mrs. Candid, and she is
Hmm.
breaking everything down. If you just came into the stream, you missed a lot. You might want to hit the replay because she already hit the ground running. She talked about why we should focus on cardiovascular health. She broke down different people that are in the media that you will know how they were young in their 40s and had heart attacks. She explained why lifestyle, eating diets, and compared to you having a lifestyle, they're different. You can't just look healthy, aka having muscles and buffness. That doesn't mean you're always healthy. She explained that and broke that down with good examples. She broke down the rates of obesity in the world. She talked about I think it was roughly 20% of obese people. And then she broke it down to the community, which is blacks. She said that it was, I think, 30, almost 40% males, 30, almost 30% males. But
Hmm.
women dying, this is dying, 58%. So we need to stop playing, guys.
Yeah.
58%. All right. So that's just kind of a synopsis of what she talked about already. Some of you are going to have to just go back and hit the replay from the beginning, but stay here with us. Make sure you
Right.
hit that like button. She just broke down with statistics where is the best place where they're living the longest. And she said, and there it was the Mediterranean diet, and she broke down what that consists of. So you have the floor, Miss Candid, and I just wanted to let those coming in now. We have 20 plus in the chat.
Sure.
Let them know what you were talking about. What do
Yeah.
you suggest? What do you suggest for exercise health?
So if you're just starting off, something as simple as walking 3 to 5 days a week is awesome, right? I have an app called My Fitness Pal that I use. I also use Map My Fitness. They're free apps. And just to start off, because it's going to be difficult to like do nothing and then all of a sudden decide I'm going to go to the gym. You're going to be aching, you're going to be hurting. It's going to be difficult. But so just start off there, just walking. Once you get used to walking and you get used to, breathing heavy and it becomes norm for you, then sign up for a gym, right? I'm not going to tell you what gym to sign up for. I don't care what gym you sign up for,
Right.
but I think some people choose to work out at home. And if you are disciplined enough, I've seen people do great with exercising at home. I'm going to talk about that Mercury in a second. um, but if you're not and you feel like you need to be out, sometimes people are more focused when they go to a gym, right? If you want to go to Planet Fitness, fine. I do have a little bit of issue with some of their policies, like this pizza foolishness, and I'm just seeing videos of people eating pizza and exercising. That's not what you're there for, okay?
Right.
That's not the goal here. But they do have the exercise equipment, and if you're just starting off, it's a great place to start off. Eventually, you might outgrow Planet Fitness, and you might take yourself into another gym that's a little bit more expensive. But can I just tell you a story that happened to me this week? I was working over, at the bedside. I've only been a bedside nurse. And this particular day, I had a patient that came and this patient was, I'll say 80 a lot, because for HIPAA purposes, I can't tell you a lot, but I could get
That's
to the
fine.
point,
That's fine.
right? So this person was 80 a lot. I mean, looking at 90 years old. 90 was, she's looking at 90. And this person came in because they were having pain in their chest, and so the person was really concerned, like, oh my god, is this happening to me? Am I having a heart attack? And the answer was actually no. This person was not having a heart attack. It was a different issue altogether. But while I was doing my assessment, finding out what was going on, why they came to the hospital, and filling out everything, this person revealed to me that they got diagnosed with diabetes. I think it was like 14, 15 years prior. They were overweight. And this older person who was, like I said, 80 a lot, completely good health, her mind was right, everything fine. She said to me, I made a commitment that I was going to pay for the gym. That this person's on Medicare. Is it Medicaid or Medicare? Medicaid is for people that don't have a lot of money. Medicare is for older people. It did not cover the gym. And so she had to come out of her pocket. And she said, I decided that if I ever had to cut back on anything, I wasn't cutting back and going to the gym. Right. This is an 80 something year old person looking at 90. That
Wow.
was the commitment this person had, and it served that person well because blood pressure was immaculate, heart rate was wonderful, right? The
Wow.
issue was completely separate as to why they came into the hospital, but in terms of cardiovascular health, doing better than Cali Muscle.
Wow.
That
And
sucks to
double his
say,
age. But
and
double his age.
double,
But
and
put
doesn't
the
have nearly
health
as
as a
much health,
priority. Right.
right? Doesn't have nearly as much muscle as he does, right? And I wish our
Right.
brother well. Trust and believe, I wish our brother well. I'm just trying to draw a comparison between the importance of cardiovascular health, right? So someone made a comment about about mercury and fish. Yeah, there are some
Oh, let me go back to
fishes.
that.
Yeah,
There we go.
there are some fish that does have mercury inside of it. I tend to not get anything that is farm raised. All right, I
Oh,
am
good point.
wild
Good
and
point.
caught all day.
Me
It
too.
costs
Wild
extra,
caught.
and I don't care.
Listen,
So,
guys, and this is really important because you need to
mhm,
read the labels because you might
yes.
think all this fish is coming from the same place. It's not. She just
Mm-mm.
said, and I do this already, it should not say farm raised. Just think about them creating. All right.
Yeah.
You want it wild caught. All right. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Candy. I think
Wild
that
caught.
that was very important.
Yeah. I'm happy that person mentioned that also. And there are some fish like just do the research, find out the ones
Yes.
that they promote basically are salmon, trout, canned tuna in water. I think mackerel. Those are the ones that they really promote people to have. And keep in mind, and if you're gonna have chicken, take the skin off it, do the chicken breast thing. We're not saying you can't have meat at all, but you just want to be. It's just basically a healthy diet. And besides all the meat and stuff like that and the fish, you really want to stay focused on the vegetables and the fruits and whole grain and wheat and stuff like that. You know. So that's really what the focus should be on, and exercising, and that's it. All these other tricks and stuff like that,
Right.
it doesn't, it's not long lasting. You can't go on a diet forever. It has to be a lifestyle, and that's what's
That's
been
true.
shown. That's why these people are living long. That's why this little old person that I had was looking at 90 made this commitment, and it has served well. Could you imagine like having a heart attack at 46 and you have two young kids, just had two little kids? You
Wow.
still have a whole lot of life to live, you
Right.
know? So yeah, it's a lot of concerns. That's why it really concerns me. Yeah.
And
So
that's
some of the
why
other,
she's here, guys.
mhm,
Like, and please let her fare her well because I think a lot of times, and we've talked before about this, but it's very frustrating when you try to come to the community and the
mhm,
world at large and try to give people information and help them, and they still
mhm,
go back to the same thing, and then you
right,
wonder why you can't breathe, or your blood pressure's running up, or you can't keep up with your family or your grandkids or
yes,
whatever. And she's
right,
giving you guys simple steps, simple principles. She's even going to break down later on in the stream things to have at home. As a registered
yes,
nurse, she knows this in the hospital, but you should
right,
have, and she's going to show you and tell you
mhm,
what to do with them to help keep up with your family and how things are going with your family. So
right.
I'm gonna let you keep going because you're focused on one topic and you were talking.
It's okay. Yeah. So you just mentioned something that we're going to get into now, which is basically having some items at your home that that might help you a little bit. I'm not saying you have to have all of these items. I'm not saying that it's going to be relevant for every single person, but these are just some items. If you find them helpful, you might be surprised that, hey, I can get that. Yes. Right. One thing before I even get into these items, I want to tell people I know the cost of things. People are like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. And I'm not going to cheapen. If I tell you that this is good for you to buy, please don't ask me, can I find it cheaper? Right? Because when someone tells you about new rims, people don't be asking. If I tell you about a new
Exactly.
perfume, I have a bunch of perfume over here. And when we get on here, we talk about perfume and this and that. You'll spend $300, $400, $200, $100, and you don't care if it's $100. You'll buy it because it's going to make you smell
Yep.
good, look good. Right. So if I tell you something, do your best to find a deal, but I'm not going to strictly look for items that are inexpensive. Okay. Just keep that in mind. So the other thing I want to let people know is if you have a job and you have subscribed to your flexible spending account or I think it's called your healthcare spending account.
Yeah.
It's called FSA
HSA or
or the H.
FSA.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. One thing I want people to know is, did you know, Miss B Finesse, that you can go on Amazon and you can type in FSA approved or HSA approved items and use your
You get a
flexible
list.
spending account to get items, because you're gonna lose the money anyhow if you don't
Yep,
use it.
at the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, mine's set up that way, and I can go on
Yes,
Amazon and just get stuff with my
and
FSA
just get
account.
stuff, right? You might just be household items. You'll be surprised at how many thousands of things are on Amazon that you can buy, because you're gonna lose, or you can either use or lose the money.
You'll
It
lose
has
that
to be
money.
spent. And we're
And you
in
know what, Candid
November.
Ann? A lot of people
Hmm.
don't know they have it. They don't know that it's
Yes.
there because
Hmm.
most of your jobs give it to you guys. Some of you just
Yes.
don't know you're paying for it, and you are paying for it. You're just not
Okay.
using it.
Exactly. So one of the quick little things I want to talk to people about is something as simple as your toothbrush. All right. I know we're gonna start off real super simple.
Candid, don't forget when you're ready to share the screen, bring it up on that screen where you have that food pyramid. When you get into
Okay.
your Amazon stuff.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't even know how to switch it though.
No, just go into the screen where you have the food pyramid and just type in
Uh-huh.
Amazon and bring it back up. If you ever
Okay.
want to switch it in, all you got to do is just click stop sharing and go back
Uh-huh.
into share again and then pick which screen. So you could do that too. Either way, however
Hmm.
you want to do it.
I'm learning.
And I'm
Okay.
teaching. That's what I'm educating, Miss B. That's what I'm doing
Okay.
here. So however
Thank
you want to do
you.
it. Yep, yep. So
So
once again,
I'll
guys,
mhm.
you can go ahead and do it. I'll kind of talk to them and get them.
Thank you.
Okay. So once again, guys, if you're just coming in, we got almost 25 people in the stream now, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting like on the way in. This is great conversation. We're talking here, guys. Health is wealth, guys. So make sure that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to subscribe, all right? Make sure you're subscribed. Our goal is to get to 500. We're already pushing over 400 now. That was just our intermediate goal. And then on the way after 500 to our 1,000, 2,000 and beyond. So make sure you are sharing this. Sharing is caring. Don't take this information and keep it to yourself, guys. No, we're trying to get out there and help everybody. Each one teach one. And let's see who's in here. Let me get in the chat. So while you're getting that together, Candid Ann, I
Okay.
haven't read anybody's chat. It's been a
Hmm.
minute, guys. So I didn't forget you. Let's go into the chat. Let me go back a little bit. We have before the billions. He says smoking is terrible. You're right.
Hmm.
Kingsway Gardening. Once again, thank you for the 5 coffees. I appreciate you so much. She says lifestyle change and discipline is important. Vaughn says, did you accidentally forget to hit the like button? It's okay. You can do it now. Mickey Red says this is interesting. Over the top was saying health is wealth. Blind guy, his wife, the life says okay. Well, healthy is living is my life until after 5 p.m. She always cracking jokes. Then she got her wine glass.
So I'll
Simon
share the screen
Hectic.
a little bit later. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm about to
sorry.
show it. Simon Hectic says Mediterranean. I can see it, Candid, and I can see it in the back. I
Okay.
have to
Yeah,
add
don't
it.
don't hit it now though.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Hmm.
Simon Hectic says Mediterranean meaning Europe. We already talked about what YouTube Street says. Genesis 1 says, I heard a glass of red wine per week is
It's
okay. Is
fine.
that true?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let's see.
In
Genesis says,
moderation.
yes, in moderation. Genesis 1 says we should be doing 10K steps per day. Is that true? She's
So I
asking you
don't care
that.
about the 10,000 steps. I mostly care that if 10,000 steps, whatever you can do in at least 30 minutes, right? So you want to have 30 minutes of active exercise. So 5 minutes, it might be 40 minutes, because 5 minutes you should be warming up and 5 minutes you should be slowing down. So
Cool down.
that 30 minutes I'm talking about is the in between the warm up and the slow down. Okay. 30 minutes of active exercise. I don't care if you're dancing. I don't care if you are jogging. I don't care if you're on a cycle. I don't care what you're doing. I don't know. It might take me, I might do 10,000 steps, as I'm a nurse, right? So I'm always running around up
Oh,
and down the
yeah.
hospital. Like
Yeah.
literally, if I don't go out and walk, I know if I work back to back, I'm doing 10,000 steps easy in that hospital, right? Just
Yes.
because of the way of my job. But so if 10,000 steps you can do in a half hour, you might do 12, you might do 5. Just be active for 30 minutes. I'm not counting the warm up and I'm not counting the slow down, talking about that 30 minutes of walking. Don't worry about the steps, but it's a good guideline. I don't think I think it's a great guideline. If you have like one of those Fitbit watches, it's a great guideline.
Right. Okay, thank you for
Mhm.
that. So she clarified that for you guys. It's not how many you're taking, it's the fervor, which means like the
Yes.
intensity of the 30 minutes is what's important. Vaughn says, I use my Fitness Pal app.
Love
It's
it.
awesome. It is a great tool to keep track of what you are
Yes.
eating, and I love it. I believe I do have that. I think that's the one I have too.
Yes.
Let's
It's a
see.
great app. I really, oh, we could do a whole, you know what? Let me just tell
Can you
people
bring
that.
I'm gonna see if I
Mhm.
can bring it up. No, go ahead, go. You have the
Yeah,
floor.
if you have the time, if your viewers have the time, it's a free app. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. We can't go into it in depth right now because it's such a powerful tool and there's so much that you can do with MyFitnessPal, but there are tons of videos on YouTube that talks about MyFitnessPal. And I'll just step into MyFitnessPal just a little bit. If you are trying to lose weight, which is what the majority of people are trying to do, right? If you're trying to, or you're trying to maintain your weight, but if you're trying to
Right.
lose weight, it's a little bit frustrating in the beginning because you don't know where to go, what to do, or anything like that.
Facts.
MyFitnessPal is an app where you can log in your food because I feel like oftentimes we don't even understand how much sugar is inside of a soda, how much junk is inside that Red Bull or
No
whatever it is that we're
clue.
doing.
You're right.
And so what it does is you take your phone, and I don't even have a food item next to me. Right? I'm just gonna use this big cap, girl. The little UPC, the little UPC code that's on the back. You literally take your phone and you swipe the UPC code, and it will pop up with how many calories is inside that food item, and it will further break it down into macros. Macros are basically, not to get too crazy, macros are basically three major things. It is carbs, it is protein, and it's fat. Those are the three macronutrients that we talk that you need in order to live, right? There are other micronutrients such as, vitamins and minerals and things like that, but when you're talking about macronutrients, so just swiping. So all you gotta do is swipe it when you're eating something, and it will pop up if you're eating something that's packaged. I don't recommend always eating packaged foods, but I'm talking about even rice that you have to cook. You can still swipe the back of it and add that in,
Candid
right?
Ann, is this it? I just typed it into
Yes.
just a browser. So, guys, if you
Yes.
want to just type it in your browser so you can remember to add it as an app to your phone,
Yes.
this is what it looks like.
And what's
And
wonderful
yeah, it is
about it,
awesome.
you can use it on your desktop and it syncs automatically to your phone. The desktop has a little bit more features than the phone app, but the phone app is very, very powerful and it's mobile. And no matter where you go, you can use it. I will say in the beginning, it's if you cook your food often, it can be a little bit frustrating because you have to add everything in there manually. But I think most people, we eat basically the
Yeah, the
same
same.
foods.
And
So
once you do
once
it
you
once,
set it
it'll
up,
save it.
it'll
Yeah, it's
save
worth
it
it.
and you'll
Oh, it's
have
so
it.
worth it.
So it's
It's so
so
worth
worth it. And
it.
you don't have to
And
spend a penny.
you know what I have to add to this, Candid, and that I can speak on,
Mhm.
and just seeing this with people that I've kind of helped because I've lost pockets of weight and helped people too. It's sometimes people just don't want to even go through the steps.
I
If that
know.
makes sense to you,
Yeah.
simple things, Candid, and like writing it down, it's so freaking frustrating. And because
Yeah.
if you wrote down everything you put in your mouth, you wouldn't eat as much. But this kind of helps you detour to see, just like you said, simple things. We don't know how much is in these pops that we drink. Y'all call them AKA soda. Pop for me, I'm from up north. We don't know what's what's in these processed foods we buy that's in the
Mhm.
regular aisles. Like, I just tell people something simple: when you go in the grocery store, stay along the edges. That's where all
Mhm.
the most healthiest food is, on the edge, not up and down the aisles. Now, it is what it
Mhm.
is. Sometimes we will have to buy things, but just to get you going where you don't have to think a lot, stay on the
Yes.
edges when you're buying food. Just little simple things, guys. And I'm telling you, if you wrote down everything and you turned that label over like I used to do years ago, and you read through and seen all the stuff that was in the food and how you
Yes.
balance the micro and macro and all that, like, it
Mhm.
will be so purposeful, because then you will be losing actual weight that is sustainably stay off, instead of
Right.
water weight. You're losing weight, dropping it, and it comes back. So I'm
Right.
gonna give you a floor. That was just something I know about, and
No, I
I have
love
used
it.
this.
Yes, yes, and yes. So my fitness, it's like I'm just basically like touching the surface on how powerful my fitness pal is, but
It
it
is.
keeps it tells you, like, if you scan something that's too fatty, it'll say, okay, you've entered whatever item, you're supposed to stay below a certain amount of fat today, and it'll pop up and it'll tell you. And what's great about it
That's
is you can
true.
scan the item before eating it.
Yep.
So if you're
Yep.
like, wait a second, Should I have this or not? Do I have enough calories left? You can scan something and decide, you know what, if I eat, I'm going to make it up half a bag of M&Ms as opposed, you might be able to eat it. It might be okay because we're not saying that you can't enjoy life at
That's
all,
true. That's true.
right? So it might be
Balance.
okay because you were really balanced in your diet earlier. So when you hit snacks and you type in or you scan that bag of peanut M&Ms or whatever it is, you might be cool. It might be fine. And so
True.
it's wonderful. I really encourage people to do no sponsorship or anything like that. I just
Yeah,
encourage
no
people to use my
sponsorship
fitness
here either.
pal.
It just works. It
It
just
just
works. It
works
does.
and it's free,
That's true. And it's
right?
free. So it's
And
no
it is free.
excuse. That's what,
Mm-mm.
listen, guys, if you just coming in the chat, just coming in the stream, make sure you're hitting that like button. We have special guest, Miss Candid Ann here. She is giving us so many tips on things. Most of these things are free. Many are low cost. But the most important thing is the equality of having good health. So some of these things are not going to be low cost, but it doesn't matter because your
Yes.
health is the most important thing. When you wake up and take your
Yes.
first breath, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter the cost of what you have to do to keep yourself aligned. So you not going to the doctor and
Right.
then getting exuberant cost because you didn't do something simple, taking care of yourself. All right. So she's about to break that down. I was going through the comments. She found something important in the comments she wanted to elaborate on. Let me do a couple more comments and then
Yeah.
she's going to break down a list of things that she feels that you guys will need in the house. Once again, she is a registered
Yeah.
nurse and she is here to help the community with basic things. So there's no excuse, guys. Also, shout out to Gail, my moderator,
Hey, Gail.
extraordinaire. She says, "Hey, fam, she's on the road. I talked to her yesterday, so she's getting ready to travel, guys. So make sure we put good well wishes for her while she's on the road. Hey, Peter the investor, I'm glad you're here. Before the billions of saying wild caught salmon is top tier. Let's see. YouTube Streets is saying, I believe it or not, Cuba is doing well in the longevity department as far as having greater percentage of their people living over 100. Wow, that's good.
Find out what they're doing and do it too. Whatever. Just
Exactly.
find out what they're doing and do that. You know,
Exactly.
because
I hope
something
I
is
say
wrong with
this
our
right.
community.
I
Yeah.
think I always say this word wrong. She says, my favorite line says, I'm a pescatarian.
Pescatarian.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And mindful of how much fish I do have. I'm mostly plant based.
Good. Awesome.
Let's see. Simon Hectic, he's all the way from over the pond in London. He says,
Hey,
Mrs. B Finesse, great guest choice. Great work
thank
schooling folks.
you.
That's what I do here. I
Much
educate
appreciated.
and trying to get these conversations for us to have them because some of y'all don't want to talk about stuff. So I try to bring that to
Hmm.
this platform. I don't care if you don't want to hear it or not. We're gonna put the seed down. We're gonna put the seed down, and it'll grow wherever it needs to
There
grow.
you
If you
go.
don't want to take it, that's not my problem. I did my work as an educator. I laid it
But you see,
down.
that's the thing that I have, that it is my problem though. Like, granted, you could walk away from it, but this is my life. 3 days, 5 days, 4 days a week. When you guys are coming into the hospital, can't breathe. I'm at your bedside. Miss B Fitness, if you've never had someone call your name, right, as their last word on this earth because they're reaching out for you and you're about to do CPR on them, it becomes real. So it gets it bothers me when my people, I see this too often, and I'm just like, my God, if we could just make some changes. Let me tell you, I have so many stories on top of stories. I
You
had a
got the floor. Tell
person,
what you need to tell.
I had a person that literally, this is the frustration. This is why I don't talk about some of this on my channel, because you see me getting like angry, frustrated. It's because I care. I literally had a person get a stent. So this particular day I was working in a post stent, on a post stent. So after you get your stent, like, you come in, you had a heart attack, you had some kind of cardiac arrest, they found you in the street, the ambulance brought you, and you come into my unit. This particular day, that's where I was. And we do a workup on you. We realize your arteries are occluded, your cardiac arteries are occluded. They sent you away. This person got 2 stents, right? Opened up those particular arteries. And when you're in the hospital, the doctor's going to put you on a cardiac diet, which means basically you can't have the stuff that I explained, right? Not too much meat, not too much fat, not too much sodium, right? I glazed over it with the Mediterranean diet because I'm really trying to make it simple, but there's more to it. There's the sodium you got to watch. There's just different things, right? And so for breakfast, they call the cafeteria, they call nutrition, they order, eggs and bacon or whatever. Lunchtime, they order a sandwich or, cold, I don't know, whatever. Come lunchtime now, you've used up, because remember, this is a daily thing. You've used up all of your fat. He's used up all of his sodium. So you got to eat something healthy. It is about a balance, right? So the cafeteria is like, you can't have the steak for lunch, for dinner tonight. You have to have a salad. This person got so frustrated, they hung up the phone, like slammed the phone down on the cafeteria. I come into the room now. This is before C19. I won't, right? This is before then. I come into the room, and this person's son, the person is there with a Big Mac, large fries, and a Coke.
What?
You just had 2 cents placed yesterday.
Wow.
And they knew they were screwing up because the son said to me, "Uh-oh, we're going to get in trouble."
Right.
Right? You know
Sad.
what I did? I was like, you know what? If you haven't learned by now, I'll just see you here next week when you need a cabbage. I'll be here and you get, when, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I get frustrated. I get really frustrated. I mean, I can't even imagine if you had two, because oftentimes people think that, oh, I got 2 cents, I'm back to new again. No, you still have, if you have cardiovascular issues, if, like I told you about Cali muscle and how he has that plaque and that occluded his arteries, that plaque isn't just in that one artery. That's the part that got blocked, but it's throughout your system. So you need to make a lifestyle change, and it's frustrating. So when people don't adhere to these things and they come to me begging for help, begging to breathe, I gotta hold you up because you can barely make it to the bathroom. I want to see you do better than that, especially when I see that you're so young.
Right.
Right? I can't tell you about how many young Black men I've seen at the hospital, right,
Wow.
with a life vest on drips that you're walking around with a milrinone drip. Milrinone is an inotrope. I'm gonna get into it, but you're walking around throughout the day with medication that's helping your heart squeeze because it's so weakened. Right? This is what I'm talking about. That's the frustration. And if you walked into it day after day after day, it just affects you differently. You know how the lead attorney
Right.
talks about how he's a 20-year lead attorney and he sees things a little bit differently because he's living
Exactly.
it's just a little bit different when you are a nurse. If there's any nurses out there, I'm sure they can understand what I'm talking about, the frustration. So at any rate, let me get off of this this little bit of a
No,
rant.
I
And it's
think
not a
I
rant, it's just that I'm
no, it's not a
passionate
rant.
about it.
What you got to understand, Candid Ann, is that it is imperative that you do that, because if you just graciously just talk and just tell people to do stuff, to be
Hmm.
honest, they're not going to listen. But when
Hmm.
they hear a story like that, you've told like 3 stories, most of you going to have to do hashtag replay, because she is breaking this down so much that if you leave this stream and still do the same things, you must don't want a long life, and you must not care about your family, because she is in the trenches every day, and she's saying she's seeing people that look like you out
Hmm.
here, and she doesn't want you in there. So she's trying her
Hmm.
best to be relatable to you. And it
Right.
doesn't make any sense at this point that we have to do this when there's so
Hmm.
much education out there, Candidate.
Yes.
There's so much out there where you can eat healthy. There's so many ways
Hmm.
for you to do it. You don't have to be richy rich. It's just you might have to cut out
Right.
some things to have the good
Right.
healthy stuff. And you might
Yes.
have to cut out eating as many times as you eat.
Right.
And the amount of things. It's totally doable. Just like she broke down in the
Right.
beginning. If you want the rims and you want the clothes, you want designer bags and these other things that get you nowhere, they help you know how in
They make you
life.
look good, right? They make you look good. They don't they the Versace and all that stuff and
Exactly.
the Louis Vuitton bags, they make us look good. But I have never seen I haven't seen any of that stuff at the hospital when I have to bag your body.
Right.
I haven't put one of those things into a body bag because you died of cardiac disease. Because I'm sitting down there, all of a sudden I hear bing, 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 and I gotta jot down over to your room to find you unconscious. Right? This is what I'm talking about. So I just want people to understand that I want you to live well. I love nice things. Don't get me wrong. I like nice
Exactly.
things. Okay, I
Me
like nice
too.
things.
Exactly.
But there's nothing more nice than living well. There's nothing more expensive. You don't own anything more valuable than your body.
It's
You just
facts.
don't. There's nothing. No, there's no car. There's no house. You own nothing more valuable than your body. And I want you guys to take care of it to the best of your ability. Sometimes you're dealt with a bad hand. Sometimes I can't say that I'm gonna recommend these things and you're gonna live to 100 years old. Sometimes
Right.
things happen. I've shared with you guys that my husband has had issues in the past, right? things happen, but do your best to circumvent those as much as possible, and you will see the results are there. The proof is in the pudding. People can extend their life. You can live better, you know. So let's get into the Amazon list. First thing I talked to you about was
You
a
got your list
simple.
up?
So I do. I'm not gonna. We'll talk about the
Oh,
Amazon
tell
list
me
in
when
a
you're
little
ready.
bit. Yeah, I'll
Nope, you
tell you
got the
about
floor. Go
that.
ahead. Yep,
Okay, yeah. So the
you got the
first
floor.
thing. Oh, my friend Danny. Okay, Danny. Can I just interrupt right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I asked my friend Danny to join. If you see him in the panel, I asked
I
him.
did. I seen him. I just said, "Hey,
Okay, thank you,
Danny Rule, you
Jesus.
look like a new face."
Yes, I
Okay.
asked him.
Yes.
So he's
Let me
my
drop the
friend.
link. You want him to
Yes,
come up? Okay, hold
I
on. Let me
do.
drop
I
the
want
link.
him to come up. I just want to give you a little bit of
Yay.
warning. This is my friend Danny. He's being so gracious right now to come up and talk to you. My friend Danny, this is someone that I knew, that
Yay.
knew me, that knows my real first and last name. He's known me. We were in junior high school together. Okay. And so this guy really actually knows me. He knows my character. He knows who I am. And so, and if you think I'm candid, he's extremely honest, but the most amazing thing about him is that he's
Good.
actually lost an incredible amount of weight, and I wanted him
Great.
to come on and talk about it. So if he's here, I would like to
He is.
let him
Let
talk,
me
and
drop the link
I'll fall
again.
back. Yeah, if you can. Thank you so much, Dan, if you're here.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. I just seen his name. I was looking back through the chat on my phone. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
he's
is it Danny?
awesome. He ain't nothing to play with.
Does he know how to does he know how to get on StreamYard?
I don't know.
Okay, Danny, listen, just click the link and follow the prompts through the link. And type whatever name you want to be put in, and then you'll come straight on, and I'll add you. So when he comes on, Canada, and I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And I wanted him to talk about it because I feel like sometimes, because I am naturally slim, I still work out. You can still be unhealthy and be slim.
That's
But I feel
facts.
like sometimes people feel like because I'm naturally slim, they think I can't relate or I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't walked their walk. I haven't had to lose a bunch of weight. I haven't had to do certain things. So even though I'm seeing the results of this and I can talk from a nurse's perspective, I found it like I made the effort to find someone that might speak to you even better than I could, right? And so that's
Okay,
why he's
perfect.
gonna
Yeah,
come up.
he said he's coming up. He said, "Give me a second." He said, "I'm coming
Okay,
up."
thank you so much, Danny.
Perfect.
Much love, bro. All right, so I'll just get started a little bit
Well,
about the
actually, hold
Amazon
on, hold
list.
on. I
Oh
did
yeah,
you
yeah.
already?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you already did your. You gave us an example of the patient.
Yes.
That would okay. That warmed your heart. That was an older lady.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and
Praise God.
okay, good, good. Oh, something else I wanted to ask you. Oh, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell us this. Why did you even get into nursing? And why do you want to do it when you feel like
Ooh.
nobody listens? Like, can you talk to us about that while we're waiting for him to come on? Like,
Okay, so I got
because you said
into
you transitioned
nursing.
into it.
Yes, I actually, okay, so this is kind of a long story, but I'm not going to make it long. I don't have any children. And when you are a woman that's married with no children, that might be fine. You might want to, be a dual income, no kids, dink life, right? That might be something that you really want. I didn't really think about that. I thought I would get married and I thought I would have kids, and I bought this big old house, big enough for me and a family, not a huge house. My husband and I, thinking that we would have kids, a huge backyard. I have 3 acres of land and all this other kind of stuff. Thinking that I could imagine kids being here and family outings. That's what I envisioned, and that didn't happen. And so I figured, you know what? How else can I contribute to society? I wasn't one of those people that felt like I needed to have kids, right? I didn't do no crazy situation. If it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. I was okay with that, right? However, I said to myself, in life, is kids the only way I can live to like contribute? Because a lot of people, especially in our community, as soon as you get married, when you're gonna have kids, that's your legacy, that's your life, that's the most important thing. And I felt like when I go to a funeral and I'm looking and they're reading someone's eulogy, what do they talk about? They talk about their life work. Right. That's what we talk about. We talk about if Miss B Finesse passes away, we're going to talk about where she was born. We're going to talk about what she did for a living, what she contributed to her community, the years spent educating kids. We're going to talk. That's the things that most people. And at the bottom, they'll say she is survived by her daughter, cousin, niece, nephew. At the bottom, but the majority of that stuff is your life's work, right? And I
Yep.
thought about that more and more and more. I thought about celebrities when they pass away. I don't even know their children. I do not even know their kids, but the impact they had on us as a nation. I thought about Malcolm X. I know Malcolm X had kids, but I don't know them all. But I think about his work. So when I started thinking about the things that I wanted to do. How can I contribute? In what way at this age, changing my career? I was working in an investment bank as a graphics operator and doing a little bit of photography on the side as well. I thought, how can I contribute to the world? Like, other than just giving birth, what else can I do? And nursing was where I felt like I could make a good impact, because I was always told, and Danny might, tell you this about myself for some strange reason. I don't know why. Oftentimes people think, were you a teacher, Andrew? Were you a teacher? And I have no desire to teach, none
I feel like
whatsoever.
yeah, you naturally feel like
None.
you are a teacher to me too.
Really, a lot of my
Yes.
school friends that knew me from a long time said, I thought you were going to be a teacher. But
Uh-huh.
I think what happens is I have a way of explaining things to make it simple, to be relatable. And that's why I enjoy YouTube. And that's why I enjoy talking about nursing. That's why when certain people come to, but if you're my patient and you, certain, right? I got to talk to you. I got to talk to you because I know that you're going to understand what I'm telling you. Right. And so I make an effort, because other races, they'll listen. They respect me because they see that RN right there on my chest, and that's all that's needed. But some members of our community, they're distrustful. And you got to sit down, you got to take time and sit down and talk to them in a way that they understand. And so me becoming a nurse, I felt like I had the ability to not only understand, like I'm a smart person, but I also have a way of relating I don't want to say complicated, but like relating what people need to know, like basic understanding of, when I talk about, like, when people come to me for a stent, right? And they're like, I'm gonna go to the cath lab tomorrow, and the doctor, he came by and he told me something, but I don't really understand. I have a way of explaining it, and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Now I understand what's about to happen. Right. Because I have a way of explaining things to people in a way that they understand. So it was a combination of me wanting to find purpose in life, finding a way in which I could sustain my life, because I can't, I'll be honest with you, as much as I love my community, I'm not going to be broke, right? I have to make sure that my lights are on. I can't give if I'm not full myself. I cannot be out here not being able to pay my mortgage, pay my rent, and all these kind of different things. I'm not going to be focused on your cardiovascular health if I'm worried about the oil bill. I just can't. So I needed a career. I'm not wealthy, but I needed a career in which I knew that if I did my job, that I can at least know that home is good, and I can come into work, knowing that my electricity is paid, my mortgage is paid, and I can give of myself. And I felt like nursing would be a good fit. And if I didn't like it, I could quit. I don't have to. I can go back to working in the graphics field at a financial firm if I want to. Right. So I tried it. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. And there's some frustrations there, but I'm trying to navigate my way through finding out how I can help out and make a difference. Yeah. So that's how I end up becoming a nurse.
Do you feel, since you've become a nurse, do you feel like it's meeting that need that you wanted to fill? Or do you still feel like you need to put some more time and years in to see an outcome? Because I
Well,
think a lot of nurses don't really talk about that side of it, like
mm-hmm,
as you're going through it progressively. Do you feel like you're meeting that need? Because you really
mm-hmm,
intentionally went into this to help others. It wasn't really
right.
anything for you, to be honest. You
No,
are getting the
I had
financial
to take a
gain
pay
of
cut.
I bet you did. Yeah, you said
I
you
took
went
a
from
pay
financial.
cut. Yeah.
But do you feel like you're getting the piece that you wanted, because you said you wanted to do something to help people, and you
Well,
wanted to be something sustainable?
what I realize is I don't know if I am necessarily helping people like I'm doing right here in terms of educating, but what I do know that there's not a shortage of nurses, there's a shortage of bedside nurses. And
I
my
got you.
skin, from the Bronx, New York, from Barbados, from the New York girl, I have thick enough skin that I can deal with a lot of things that others can't deal with.
Okay.
So when
Yeah.
I am at the bedside, I have the ability to compartmentalize my real life, what's needed, this patient, that patient, and I have the ability to be what I need to be for each person, as as best I possibly can.
Right. Right.
And keep in mind, I'm dealing with extremely, like, I've had people that you would see on the television, as that you could turn on certain channel and watch them, and I've had homeless people. So they have different needs. I've had people with no children. I have people that do have kids and they don't talk to their kids. I have patients. There's a whole wide variety. And so one thing that I'm not a judging kind of a person. I listen, and that's part of the training that you do as a nurse. It's not just about the medical stuff. It's also about like listening, because I could talk all day about health, but if you don't feel like your life is valuable enough, if you don't feel like you care about life, you're not going to get to the gym and exercise. You're not going to care enough to do what I'm talking about. So even though we're not talking about mental health, that is also a huge aspect
Yeah,
of wealth, of caring
that's
for your
true.
I'm sorry, health,
Right.
right? So did Danny come up yet? Is he there?
No, I don't see him yet in the
Oh,
back.
okay. No
I
worries.
don't
No
see him yet in the
worries.
back.
And
Um.
so,
Okay. Why
any
did
other
you want?
questions? Those are great questions, Miss
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Finesse.
You hey,
Girl, you hitting me.
listen,
You hitting me.
I try to get internally. I don't like to do those surface questions.
You just
I
taking it
like
to
to
the
look. Hey, you
yes.
watch the show, Cannon, and you've been on the panel. You
Yes.
know how deep I get with these questions
You
now.
do, and I'm happy that you did, because a lot of people don't trust nurses and doctors. And to be just this week, I had a patient that was an interracial relationship, married. Oh, there's my boy. She's, and as soon as she saw my face, she felt a sigh of relief, like, oh,
Yeah.
because I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, and she felt like I could be able to talk to you. And sometimes that's all it takes is seeing. Not to say that another nurse that's white is not going to give you the same care, but for whatever reason, she had a level of comfortability. So I'm going to let Danny talk. This is my friend.
I want you to
He's
speak. You give him an
yeah.
introduction.
Okay, yeah. This is my friend Danny. I asked him to come on here just last night to talk to you guys, because he has done something that a lot of people struggle with. Right. He has done, and he did it the hardcore way through diet and exercise. He lost an incredible amount of weight. Danny, someone that I knew for he knows me. He knows my real life. He could talk to you, and like I can't. He's real. If you think I'm Candid, we're from the Bronx. Okay. So he's going to give you the real, and he's going to talk to you about his journey. And, please feel free to ask him questions. He's very, very open. He's very, very, very honest. And, I can't talk to that journey like he can. Like, what made him want to actually take the time out and make a change? So Danny, go ahead. Please introduce yourself. Thank you, hon, for coming by.
All right. Hello, can you hear me? Good.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you, Dan.
Yes, you sound
So,
excellent.
so my name is Danny Ruel, and I ballooned up to like 452 pounds, and this is over a course of time. You know what I'm saying? Stress, life and stress will make you gain a lot of that weight. So, I went through a lot of stuff. Marriage and divorce, and ended up getting up to be 452 pounds, and I mean, if you want to know what really made me want to lose weight really bad, I was always on a weight loss journey, because even back in the day, I was always big. I was always a big guy. And what happened is just that at a certain point in time, I just was like, yo, either I'm gonna shit or get off the pot, you know? So what happened is, like around 2013, 2014, I just decided to start riding riding a bicycle everywhere I could ride it. And
And you're in New York too, so that's not an easy thing.
yeah, that's what I do. I make sure I ride the bicycle at least 20 to 30 miles a day.
Wow.
Um, I really got dedicated and focused. I don't, I make sure that my calorie count was under 1,300 calories for a
Wow.
good long time. For a good long time, I was doing that. I mean, now that I lost 150 pounds,
Wow.
of course, I do deviate from the 1,300 calories. I use my Fitness Pal. I do use that
Okay.
as well. My Fitness Pal is to count my calories and to count how many calories I'm burning while I'm exercising.
Hmm.
So and I do that in combination with weightlifting. I do weightlifting, but the majority of my exercising is riding the bicycle and getting a lot of making sure that I sweat every single day. And I had you got to focus on doing that. You can't stop doing it just until you reach the point that you want to get to. So I've been maintaining my weight loss. I lost most of my weight in 2017. I had gotten down to my lightest I've ever been, and I've been maintaining it. I may be a little like 10 pounds over than the lightest I've ever been, because in junior high school I was 280 pounds.
Hmm.
You know,
Were
so
you a
I've always
strong 280, like muscular, play
Yeah.
football, or were you like
no,
He's
overweight
no.
active,
280?
but you were mad active.
I
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay.
I was not active like that, but
Okay.
I was
Hmm.
just running around and things like that of that nature. But I
Hmm.
wasn't. I was always fat. I was always not
Gotcha.
not um not active. But now
Okay.
I'm very active, very active. I exercise every day. The things that I use to help. I do have tools that I use. I use a sauna suit that helped to get rid of a
Okay.
lot of weight. I use the sauna suit.
Hmm.
Also, a lot of smoothies. So
I love smoothies.
the majority of my weight I lost in 2017, but I went like 6 months on a liquid diet.
Wow.
I went like 6 months without eating any solid food. I just kept
You
just
went a
drinking
little over.
smoothies. I did. I went overboard. I kind of went like
Hmm.
really. I really got into it
Danny, let me
and
ask you
made.
a question. Hopefully, I don't get you off track because I got a whole bunch of questions for you. Because I'm inspired and excited about this. Because I love that we actually have a person on here. We have the nurse, and then we soliloquy to a person that actually went through this journey. So there's no
Hmm.
excuse to hear anybody saying anything because you have the information and you have the role model, and it's all coming together. And then you got
Hmm.
me just providing a space. My question to you, Danny, is what made you or even inspired you to do the change? That's my first question. What made you want to lose the weight? What was the breaking point? What was it, the person, the thing that made you just say, I got to start? Because I
Enough.
think a lot of people don't know what, like, when they hear it or what it is. Like, what was it for you? That's my first question.
Okay, it was a number of things, but I could say that one of the biggest things that really bothered me and really got me to the point where I gotta get rid of this shit. It was like, I went to Great Adventures. You can't fit on the ride,
On
and
the
that shit
ride.
is embarrassing as fuck. You get let me watch my tone. I'm sorry. Um,
I appreciate that.
it is very embarrassing when you stand on
Wow.
the line with thousands of people waiting to get on the ride, and then you get on the
Wow.
ride and you don't fit, and they like, yo, we can't close this thing on you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
don't. I done paid $75 to get into this park, and now
Exactly.
I can't
Hmm.
fit on the ride that I want to get on. And
Hmm.
then you start seeing things like that, like you little things like you don't fit in the seats on the bus or the train, and you pushing everybody off the side. They
Hmm.
mad at you. You know what I'm saying? You taking up
Right.
2 seats. You shouldn't be. That stuff is embarrassing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's like, at what point do you say, yo, man, I need to really get rid of this stuff?
Wow.
I
Right.
really need to
Right.
do something about it.
Right.
Hmm.
I can't make no excuses. And
Right.
I think it's kind of, I don't know. For me, it's just like, not getting the type of girls that I want to get, not being with the type of girls I want to be with, that type of thing, because, I feel like having a self-conscious issue. So, really, that stuff just really started making me feel like, yo, I might as well, I really got to get this down. And I have
So,
been trying for
were
so
you in your
long.
teens or 20s when
No,
or
I was
30s?
in, no, I was about 40.
Wow, you lost the weight in your 40s.
Yeah, 2017, I was 42.
Hmm.
I was
Okay, so
42 in
you topped
2017.
over. You were almost 300
Hmm.
pounds for most of your life.
Yeah, but most of my
Wow.
life, most of my married life. Oh man, I got really big when I was married.
So
I
that
was
you talked
married
about
and
that, the
divorced.
stress. You said the
Yeah,
stress. Okay.
the stress of marriage and divorce, man, really, really helped pile the pounds on.
Wow.
Like,
That's
cause
really deep.
the stress eating, the stress, there's so
Yeah.
much stress eating. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yes.
having like I was going through some personal issues. My daughter was in a danger type thing, and it was just like it was a lot of stress. I was under a lot of stress, and I coped with it by eating. Just eating
Yep,
whatever I
many
want to
people
eat.
do. Yeah, it's very common.
So, and then having a kid too. When you have a kid and you sitting there eating with your kid, your kid wants to eat all of the worst stuff, and so you want to eat the worst stuff right along with your kid.
Comfort eating, comfort food.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Cake,
Right.
ice cream, pie, fried chicken, all those things.
Hmm.
That's
So
true.
did you
And
meet
and
any resistance when you decided to make a change? Did you meet any resistance from your family?
yeah, I know. You meet resistance. The resistance you meet that I met was basically for people that was around me, like people at the job. Oh, have this donut. We having a party. All day at the job. They have it every time. Like at once a week, they having freaking some kind of party or cake or something like that for people.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, you could just have one donut, and they put it in your face too, like, oh, this one cookie ain't so bad. And let me tell you something about people. You have to be really leery about people because people be like, don't go killing yourself. See, that's that negativity. They'll
Oh, we
tell you,
can't
they'll be
say
like,
we
oh,
can't say that
don't.
word. We got to say delete or something. YouTube will
Oh,
try
right,
to
right, right.
spam us
Because
if we say that
Danny's not a
word.
YouTuber, so don't say the K word. Just say delete
Oh,
ourselves. Because
sorry.
Delete.
that's
Yeah.
yeah,
No, no
yeah.
words.
Okay, so they say that they'll be like, when you exercising, like I used to exercise every day at lunchtime instead of going to eat, right? At work. And people would see me. They would see I would take the city bike. I don't know if you know about in New York City, they have city bikes, right? So I would go at my lunch break and go take a city bike out on my lunch break instead of eating. And I wouldn't eat. I would have like a smoothie, but I wouldn't eat. And so these people at my job would say, don't do that
Go.
to yourself.
Hmm.
Don't do this to yourself. You going too hard. You know what I'm saying? Don't. And I would say, and I used to say to them all the time, I say, yo, when you saw me sitting here eating 3 slices of pizza, because I've been working at my job 30 years. Okay, as you saw me eating lunch, 3 slices of pizza. You didn't tell me to not to do that to myself, right? Did you? Did you stop me? Did you
Ooh.
see me? You
Right.
saw me eating lasagna, and you didn't tell me don't do that to yourself.
Mm.
Right.
Enough is enough. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Nobody said that to do. Don't do that to yourself, right? But when you saw me exercising every day, I'm putting a light on you from being lazy, and you like saying, "Oh, don't do that to yourself. Oh, you going too hard." But you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, "Yo, just shut
Wow.
up." You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing to me. Leave me alone. You
Right.
see what I'm doing? And they was like, "Yo, you're wasting away to nothing." Like, come on, man.
And then you see the true motive of people. You see who's really for you in that moment, because my whole thing is I'm pretty sure you let them know, and they seen in the way you was moving that you were doing lifestyle changes, and it was like they were purposely trying to kind of just deter you from it. And I'm pretty sure because internally they knew that they weren't making the changes, so they seen it in you, and it was just like like you throwing it in my face. So I'm gonna use like reverse
Hmm.
psychology. That's the psychology in me. I know that was reverse psychology because they didn't want to tell you big ups to you. They just wanted to hate because they know they weren't making the changes, and it just
Right.
sucks. You got to watch who you're around, and that leads to my next question, Danny. Did you need encouragement to lose this weight, or was it a mindset you had to change by yourself? And if you did get encouraged, who encouraged you? Because it sounds like you
Um,
was going through stuff the whole time trying to maintain it. Did
yeah,
you
it's
have
like
somebody like big up in you? You have somebody like on your team saying you can do it, you can do it in the background, or was it just a mental thing you had to go through and do this yourself through this journey?
Yeah, I kind of felt more alone doing it on my own because men, the way men encourage each other is like we still put each other down. You ain't
Gotcha.
you ain't strong enough. You know what I'm saying? You weak. You know what I'm saying? That's how guys do to each other. Like it's just like you gotta like grin and bear it. That's it. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? You gotta go
Hmm.
through it on your own. And that's basically I don't feel like I had a real big support system. Like maybe here and there I had some people that might have like encouraged me very little, but most of the people have told me, like I've had like the thing that Andrea was saying, about, how people, there's some people, they don't want to listen to like slim people. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, you don't have a journey, you know?
Right.
So they're like I've had a lot of slim people tell me stuff and I don't listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you ain't been on my journey. My journey is a different journey. We have a different
Mhm.
type of journey. So like I've had family members that would really discourage me from bike riding. They would tell me, they say, "Oh, don't ride that bike. That bike is not going to do nothing for you." Meanwhile, I'm still maintaining. I'm 150 pounds down, and it's been right now. I've been 150 pounds down, maintaining it for the last since 2017, 18, 19, 20, like 4 years, right? So the bike riding is helping me, and so that I don't really get that much encouragement from people like that. I get more discouragement than anything.
Wow.
But then if
Wow.
people
And
see the results and they be like, oh, wow.
mhm. Yeah, I think just to further back, someone had asked a question about the 10,000 steps, if that's great or not. But I want to just point out that in New York City, this is Danny who didn't even own a bike. In New York City, you rented the bikes, right, Danny?
Yes, rented
Yeah,
the
he
bike.
rented bikes in New
The
York City.
city
That's how
bike.
serious he was. His mind was set on doing this. So he rented a bike every day. You don't even have to own a bike. So if you're really serious about making a change, you will find a way. There will be no excuses. You will find a way. There's no excuse in terms of, oh, well, I don't really have a bicycle. Oh, the park is dangerous. Or you'll find a way, just like he did. So I want to
Yeah.
encourage people to not think about your excuses, to really think about the solutions in terms of getting this done.
Most people, that's what they do. They just make excuses. They
That's
don't.
it. They stay in those
It,
excuses.
it's
And the
something you have to set it in your mind that that's what you want to do. You got to set a plan. That's the one thing I did too a lot. I did write down a goal that I had to get to. I wrote it down. You got to set that plan and give yourself a deadline to make that plan. You know what I'm saying? So say you want to lose 10 pounds. Say, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days. I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 30 days. As a sense of urgency to lose 10 pounds in 30 days. You have to do it. That's what you have to do. So like, you can do the people make these goals. They say, "Oh, I'm going to pass this test in 30 days, right? I got 30 days to study for this test and I'm going to have to pass it, right?" So why can you not do that for yourself? Like
yes.
I'm on another challenge right now. I'm doing a challenge that I have to do 20 miles an hour for
Wow.
30 consecutive times. Right? I bought my I have now I have a stationary bike at home because I have an injury that
Mhm.
I'm dealing with. But I do the stationary bike at home and I have to hit 20 miles an hour for 30 days.
Mhm.
And I'm on right now I'm on 16, day 16.
Wow.
Today's gonna be
Right.
17. I'm at 17. And after I do 30 days, then I up the level of resistance. And I
Mhm.
have to do 30 days of that.
Mhm.
Because I have another goal that I've set for myself.
Right.
But you gotta give yourself a sense of urgency. So you have to set the date and set the plan for where you want to get to.
Mhm.
And once you, in my mind, that's something that I did, and that really helped. I was like, yo, you got to hit this by this time.
Mhm.
You must. That's what you must do.
Mhm. And one thing I want to talk about in terms of the excuses, when I'm at the hospital, one excuse that I can never beat is Jesus. I can't beat no matter what I do. I know this is going to rub people the wrong way because my community is extremely religious. We believe in God. And when I tell you that you got to do this at the end of the day, oh, but Jesus got the last word. And I can't beat Jesus. No matter
And
what
guess
I tell you, I
and
can't beat
let
Jesus.
me
But
add to
hold on. I
that.
want to say that what bothers me about as much as I believe in God, I'm sick of people using Jesus like a pack mule for their excuses as to why they can't get things done. Right?
Well, but
I'm not telling you.
he's
Mhm.
talking through you though. I mean, that's your
Right.
warning, that's your sign. So that's an
Yes.
excuse. You can't be using that for anything. I'm adding
Exactly.
on to that. No, you cannot.
Hmm.
That's being unwise and go ahead, Candid.
Yeah, that exactly.
Whenever
It's
somebody brings
frustrating.
up religion, whenever somebody brings up religion, they that's like an excuse as to why they don't want to do something or live right or whatever like that. But there's always some teaching. I'm no longer religious, but I was religious. But there is always teachings in the Bible that tell you that you got to eat healthy. They
Yeah,
even
it tells
even
you a
back
way
in
to
the
eat.
day did
Right.
tell you ways to eat and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I eat shrimp and I sometimes I eat bacon, but
Mhm,
the thing is that they did incorporate fasting into their diets. They did fast.
mhm,
I did. I've done fast, and fast actually work. Fast work very well. If you fast, just say for instance, if you do intermittent fasting, there's intermittent fasting plans online that you can check out. They work. But if you fast for 24 hours, that will definitely help your system recover itself. But
it's
a
not for
lot of people,
everybody
they're not
though.
this. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you do a 24-hour fast and you drink like only tea, or if you have only what you call that bone broth,
Of
it
course,
really helps to lose
Adrian
weight.
Nash is gonna come out. You said bone broth. Let me add to that.
Dan is a little extreme though. I wouldn't like he's a very intense,
Bone.
very intense, purposeful person. I'm not saying that I completely would recommend everyone do this 'cause depending on where you're at in your health, you might be able to do some of these things, but these are just additional options. But I just want someone that went through it that for you to hear from. But I don't want people to think that, oh, I'm not gonna eat for 24 hours, like
No,
fasting,
because
intermittent fasting is a real positive thing and it works. But
yeah.
if it doesn't work for you, these are just additional options for others. Okay.
And do not go into intermittent fasting or any fasting of the such without having research or
Yeah.
spoken to somebody in a medical facility. Once again, please be advised this is not medical advice. This is only for informational purposes for the extremist. And going back to what I was trying to say earlier about people using a ploy or saying the
Hmm.
religiousness of God's got it or whatever, that's not even wisdom. So just like Von says, he says Jesus is not going to help you lose weight. Faith without works is
Exactly.
dead. So if you want to go on the religious side, it's faith without works is dead. Just because you believe something and you're not activating it, just like Danny did, he literally activated what he felt he could do, and he did it to the level that he could take it. Like Candid Ann says, everybody cannot do specific types of fast because you haven't even got your body or your mind ready to do it. And I think Danny can speak to this. When he did fast, it was purely mindset. He didn't do it because he willed it. It was more his mind. He was saying, listen, this is my mind over my body. And if you don't understand that about fasting, wipe that out of the parameter. Because if you're just trying to lose some weight in a couple of days by doing that, it's so unhealthy. Don't do anything like that. So once again, don't just do things like that extreme just because you feel like you want to lose weight. It's a whole mindset thing, and anything you do, you can believe it all day. If you don't work and activate towards what you're trying to do, it's a facade. It's just you need to have a lifestyle. And I appreciate that's basically what Danny was saying. Danny, you can speak to that. I don't know if you just did it because you wanted to, or was it more mental to you when you did your fast?
No, I did was mental. Definitely have to meditate in order to do it. You have to reach a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Before you even start fasting, there's a way you have to reach a certain level to get to do it in your mind. You know what I'm saying? But everybody can you could fast. You know what I'm saying? It depends how much
Well, you
fat your
to be
body has.
honest, you literally fast when you're sleeping. So if you want to understand kind of
Right.
what it is, guys, when you go to sleep and you're not eating for depending on however long you're sleeping, you're not even trying that. That's literally what a fast is. But once again, just like Vaughn said and just like Candid Ann said, you got to be careful if you're diabetic. He says you have to be careful fasting if you're diabetic. Once again, let me bring that back up so you guys know this is not medical advice. Please be advised. This is only for informational purposes. All right. So you have
Right.
the
I
floor,
don't
Danny.
have
Whatever you want to
anything.
say.
I don't have any diseases. I don't have cardiovascular disease. I don't have any diabetes. I don't have any of those things. So I'm okay. The doctor tell me I could do whatever to lose weight, do any kind of exercise diet plan that I would like. So I'm not saying if somebody got diabetes, of course talk to your doctor. You know what I'm saying? But then, if you have a clean bill of health, you regular normal person, normal blood pressure, normal all of those things, yeah, go for a fast.
Mm-hmm.
if you're
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
the right mind state. But then again, like I told you, I had already lowered my calorie intake to 1,300 calories a day. So to do that, to do a fast after my calorie intake was already low, it wasn't as hard as as it sounds to
Right.
do
Right.
24 hours. I've actually done 7 day fasts. My brother's done 21 day fast.
Woo.
I've done a 7 day one. I've done a three
Mm.
day no food, and I like to eat. So like I said,
And it's
for
actually
me,
Wow.
good.
it's a mindset thing. It's
Wow.
totally mindset. But you have to know your body. You have to be in some sort of a sense health minded because you can't just do it to do it. I don't definitely want to concur with what Candid Ann says as a registered nurse. You can't just do it to do it because you might mess up different body systems doing that. It
Yep.
has to be something you have to research, know about, understand. If you're a specific religion, a lot of religions do that, so they know because they've talked about it, and they've talked with different people in the religion, so they know about it. So once again, guys, it's not just some quick fix. Okay, like literally, we're talking wealth is health, and wealth is something generationally passed on, and health is the same thing. It's something where you want to do it so you can pass it on to everybody around you, and it's so imperative. And I think there was a question, Kenan, I don't know if you want to answer it. Adrian had asked it. I think she was saying something like giving to other people. I seen it, Adrian, but I didn't want to mess up the
Oh,
flow of
okay. I
my
think she
guest
was asking,
conversation.
like, why are nurses more beholden to your health than the person themselves?
Yes,
It's
if you want
something
to speak
along
to
those
that.
lines. Well, I'm not. I'm not more beholden. You are beholden to your health more than I am. Danny was more beholden. Like, I'm a nurse, and he himself took it amongst himself to do it. Danny never reached out to me and asked me any questions, even though I post, because him and I are real friends on Facebook, like real friends, right? Most people in my job don't even have access to me like that. Okay. And he never even asked me a question. He took it amongst himself to do what he had to do. Of course, I was there, but he posted his pictures. I encouraged him. He looks great. Like, Danny, his smile is back. Like, I could see the structure of his face. Like, he is handsome. Like, you could tell the difference in how he looks. Like, and he's always, from New York City, we always mean mugging. That's what we do. We mean mug. So he would be always posting these pictures, mean mugging. And when I saw the transformation in him, and I saw his facial structure just as a handsome man come back, and I saw him smiling, I was sitting here like, wow, I was so happy. But I'm not more beholden. People find ways to use nurses, doctors, Jesus, whatever, as an excuse. And while we are here to help you get your mind right, you have friends, you have family, you have nurses, you have people to help you. There's no one, because at the end of the day, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to clock out, and you're still going to be left with the heart disease. You're going to still left being overweight. You're still going to be left with the diabetes. And I'm clocking out and I'm going home, and I'll pick up again 7 o'clock in the morning, but you're still stuck with it. But I don't want you to be stuck with it. I want you to be lived well. I want you to be better. So that's the reason why. Because, like I said, I don't even talk about this kind of stuff on my own channel because I don't want to be dealing with the frustration.
And to be and to
But I
be
care
honest,
about it.
guys, when I talked to her, she was kind of leery about even speaking on it because of the pushback she gets at her job with the people she's trying to help. And then you're trying to come to a bigger platform with more different type of people to say something. And so I appreciate that you guys are asking her questions. I appreciate you're concurring with a
Yes.
lot of things she's saying. This is not just a, pump and dump where, oh, whatever, she don't know what she's
Right.
talking about, or she's slim, so it doesn't matter to her. You guys are
Yes.
actually saying the things you're doing. You're talking about the apps. You guys are saying that the trials you've been through. A lot of people were agreeing with what Danny was saying about how they fast. And I believe Genesis says the max they've done is oh oops, Genesis said the max that she did was, I think, a 3 day fast. That was down here. I think we have another question for you. Yeah,
Oh,
this
Danny said he's a good looking
yeah,
man. Okay,
Genesis said,
Danny.
yeah, Danny's a good Genesis says you're
Danny
a
is
good
very
looking
handsome.
man.
He's got a great smile, and he can sing too, ladies. He's a gentleman, but he's not a game. Danny is not.
You Dan, you
Let me
put a
tell you,
look.
look.
Did we change this to what's that TV show called?
Shoot your shot. Is that the
Not
show?
Shoot Your Shot. No, the other show where they
Oh.
put the people on behind the screen and they talking.
Danny's a
You guys,
fun guy. He's a real cool person. Like, but this is a person that is intentional with their life, doesn't put up with junk. If you think he's that intense about his own self, about his own life and changing his life, no silly woman is going to come into his life and not be intentional also. So, you know, just big up to my friend Danny, because I see, even though like we don't talk every single day, I see what he's about, and he's funny too. But he's very intentional about how he lives and making choices. The same way that he was able to stand on his ground when people were like, "Don't this is our community. Don't waste away. You're gonna get too small." Don't the same way he's able to
They
like
say
stand
that.
firm. Yeah, they tell you all the time, "Don't get too small." You don't lose too much weight now, but when you're getting big, 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 no one has something to say. But he's able to stand
Right.
on his square and say, listen, I know who I am. I know why I'm making these choices. I know what I'm dealing with. And like cut the negativity out. And so I appreciate him so much for that. And I want people to hear him. Danny, if you got a valid passport, were they trying to holler into international, Danny? I'll pull you back. What's going on here?
Look at you trying to
What's going
auntie him.
on? Who's
Okay,
Genesis?
listen. What's Genesis? I believe Genesis is overseas.
Oh,
Here's a
okay.
question for Peter the investor. Which order, and this is both of you guys can answer this. Which order of priority would you choose? A, change your diet, eating habit. B, change your mindset. C, exercise appropriately. You both can answer this one at a time. What order
Well,
do you guys think that is?
in my opinion, right, and I have never had to lose any amount of weight, but in my opinion, it starts with the mind first, right? It totally starts with the mind first. Once you have come to the understanding of why you're making the change, because you can easily get unmotivated, especially with Thanksgiving and family and friends and things trying to derail you. I really think it comes to your mind. That's the very first thing. Whether you, once that's taken care of, and you've made the choice, I don't I think that some people will benefit from changing their eating habits first, and some people might benefit from changing, exercising first. They both need to happen, right, in order for you to be successful. But some people might find it easier to do one or the other. But so I'm not going to speak to those two things, but I will definitely say that changing your mind is the absolute most important thing that you have to do before you start any kind of major change. And of course, speak to your doctor before making any physical changes and changing your diet, right? But Daniel, I think he can speak to this much more, because he's actually done the work more than I can.
So I would say it is mindset. Number one, mindset. Mindset, mindset, mindset. You got to change your mind. You got to get fed up. That's the thing. You got to get fed up with your situation in order to change. So yeah, it's mindset. And then diet and exercise to me are both on the same level for me. Even though they do say that diet is like 98% of losing weight if you have to lose weight. So it's mindset, diet, exercise. But you got to do the exercise. You got to put the work and do and it's mindset. You got to set your mind to hit a goal and do it. Say Thanksgiving is coming, right? Speaking of Thanksgiving, I'm preparing myself to pay for Thanksgiving now. You know what I'm saying? I know that Thanksgiving is coming, so I have to work out harder and diet better, or more strict, in order to be able to reward myself for Thanksgiving. So you have to plan. The plan is in the mind. You have to have the mindset to plan ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely mindset. The most thing is mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. And then, quick question for you. Um, just as a man, have you found a difference in the things that you were able to do, whether it's as simple as obviously climbing stairs, your libido, your energy, or feeling more attractive when you put a shirt on or a suit on? Did you feel like, what were some of the differences that you felt as a man? Because a lot of men, well, you know what, let me back up. I want you to answer that question, but the reason why I'm asking you this question specifically as a man is because I often feel like us girlfriends, us women, we get together. Oh, girl, I feel a little fat. Oh, girl, women are much more open, and we are more encouraging to each other. We might lie to each other even, but we don't have a problem sharing our feelings and talking to other women. But men don't typically talk to each other like, man, I feel my libido is low, dude. Like, men don't do that as much, or say like, man, I don't feel as handsome or sexy. Like, I feel kind of uncomfortable. I'm not looking right. Men don't really talk to other men about that. And so I want you to talk to the men on this channel to talk about like, how did you feel? What were some of the differences that you felt before losing the weight and after? Some of the differences that mostly is usually off the table because men don't share that kind of stuff.
So yeah, my clothes getting being able to fit a size. Uh, I was got down to a size 38 waist and pants. You know, my clothes is fitting better. Being able to buy clothes off the shelf instead of like at regular stores, instead of having to go to specialty stores for big and tall. Those things definitely help. My libido was always high. I always had a high libido. I never had a low libido problem in that area. But I mean, as a motivator for men who are already overweight, let me tell you something. When you lose 150 pounds, you find that you have more penis than you've already seen. So it's kind of like it shows more. So you see that you are probably bigger than what you think down in that area, the penis area. So that was a great motivator.
And he's not lying too, because let me tell you, I've taken care of obese or bariatric patients, and I don't even want to make this a talk about penises or anything like that. But when
I
you
I'm
want
are
to
just
know.
saying that
big,
Can we say that?
penis,
Can,
that's
it's
not,
a,
it's not,
see, he said it again.
I
I'm
don't want.
saying it's not a bad
It's not a
word. I
bad
mean, it's a
word.
No,
medical
no, no.
term.
I know it's not a bad word. I'm just saying. I mean, YouTube is already they're
YouTube
particular
is
about
really
certain words.
particular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not even about is anything wrong with what you're saying. It's say genitals
right.
because they're
Genitals.
flash though.
Okay. I can attest to the fact that when people are bigger, that they do lose a lot of that size there, which
Yeah,
is just
because
because it's
the
inside their
meat,
body.
the meat, yeah, it's
The
inside. It's
it's
more
like
inside, and the
yeah,
meat underneath your stomach is extra. So
yeah.
when you lose all that, when you lose all that weight, it comes out more, and you always had it. You know what I'm saying? But it's more visual. You can see it better,
So
and
yeah,
that
thank
makes that.
Y'all got some
yeah.
questions. You
They
guys
have a
got
lot
some
of
questions
questions
in the
for
chat.
you.
Yeah,
Wow.
they got questions. Yeah, you
Well,
don't went to a
Danny,
whole nother level. We gonna have a lot of questions now. Okay, it's Genesis too. Genesis says, "How long did it take you to hit your weight goal, Danny?" That's the first question.
Okay. When I finally got my mindset right, it did take me about a year and a half.
So, how much did you lose in a year and a half?
Um, 152 pounds.
Wow, that's awesome. Whew. The next question, you lost a whole person.
he
Jen,
amazing.
yeah, that's amazing, and it shows what your mind can do as a human being. If you really just stay focused and stay on it, you can do anything you want to do as a human being. So it's no excuses. Next question, Genesis asks you, Danny, how hard is it to maintain that weight goal?
Is
And also,
is
hold on. And did you have loose skin? I'm gonna put both of them in because she's got another
yes.
one. Like, okay.
Okay, yes, I do have. I have loose skin. I'm working on putting money together to get that taken care of. But I'm in the process of getting my money together and getting my money right. I have another weight loss goal that I want to reach before I really get rid of all the loose skin. So there is
Cool.
loose skin. Um, and what was the other question?
Um, how how is it maintaining it? Like
Maintaining it
it.
is not that hard. Once you
Okay,
get to
good.
the when you get the mindset right, it's maintaining it is not that hard. What is a little bit difficult to do is to make sure, because you're not really supposed to let 3 days go by without exercising.
Okay.
If you let 3 days go without exercising, it's easy to slip back into a pattern of being
Facts.
lazy.
That's true.
So you can't let 3 days. You got 3 days. You have basically 2 days to relax, and on the third day you shouldn't. You should make sure that you exercise. I only rest one day. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not kind of biblical, but I only rest one day a week to stop exercising. But I make sure I exercise. I do planks every morning. I make sure I get up out the bed to do planks because I have some herniated discs in my spine due to a car accident. And but I still do planks every morning. I get up and do my planks, and that helps with my back and my back problems. I do planks and I do some dog yoga poses and stuff to help with the pain in the discs. But I also make sure, like every single day, I do 20 to 30 miles on that stationary bike.
How much did the bike cost you, Danny?
The bike cost $300 at Walmart. I caught a sale.
Black Friday's coming up, you guys. Black
So
Friday's coming up.
That's still
I
not a
bought it
lot.
for
130
I
bucks.
bought
That's not a lot for a
no
bike.
no no no. It was $300. Three
Oh, I
hundred.
thought you said 130.
Yeah, I caught it. I caught it at a Walmart. I've been buying weights for the house if because when the pandemic hit, I was going to the gym before the pandemic hit. I was at 24-hour fitness, and when the pandemic hit, it was like no more gym, and I had to just and all I was doing was riding the city bike in the street and doing calisthenics. Um, because there was no gym to go to. And so I started to amass, gym equipment in the house. So I started buying dumbbells and things like that nature. I got a few dumbbells. I got my stationary bike, and that's how I do my exercises. I do have
Cool.
a little bit of a neck issue because I have extra skin under my neck. If you see that. Um, so I'm gonna have to get that taken care of too. Um, It wasn't. When I was fatter, if you could check my YouTube page, I'm at Danny Ruel on YouTube, and you could see me on Facebook, Danny Ruel on Facebook, and there's pictures there that show you. I had the fat was on my neck. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't have a neck.
Candid Ann or Danny, when you guys get a chance, can one of you, Vaughn, I don't know if you can find this page, but can you guys put it in the private link, your page, and I'll try to make sure I drop it
I'll
in the
look for it
Sure.
chat
right
so everybody
now.
can see it.
His
Yeah,
Danny's
and
page,
drop it
yeah.
in the private, yeah, and I'll put it in so everybody can connect with you. Danny, we got a couple compliments and questions for you. Okay. So Vaughn says, I'm on a weight loss journey myself, and this conversation has been very encouraging. Genesis says, Danny lost a whole person. Lost a whole person. Me, I'm 150 pounds. Let's see. Simon Hectic says to you, what was it like getting on the bike for the first time? So what was that like for you?
Oh, I've been riding bikes since I was about 8, 9 years old, man. So
Oh, so
I
you
used
never
to
stopped
ride.
riding when you got really big? You never stopped riding a bike?
No, I never stopped riding a bike.
Oh, okay,
I've
cool.
always had a bike to ride, but I just didn't. I wasn't focused on riding like for exercise. I would ride for pleasure here and there. But the thing
Gotcha.
about it is that once I really, really started to do it, like hard, like it became like a sport basically. Like I do it basically like a sport. And the thing is that you know, a lot of people told me not to ride bike. They like, oh, you need to jog. I don't have the right type of feet for jogging. I don't have the right type of knees for jogging. Um, that's my daughter coming home from school. I don't have the right type of knees for jogging or ankles and things like that. And that really it gives me pain to jog, to go running and jogging. And not everybody can run and jog.
No, that's facts. You got to be careful with running. Everybody cannot
Exactly.
run, and you got to be careful how you walk when you power walk too. Because if you step wrong, I believe it's on that foot to heel. If you step wrong, you'll mess up your feet too. So that's facts on that, Danny.
Right. So even
I
if you
That's
have
have
an
definitely
injury,
facts.
he found a way. I want people to know like this is very intentional. I'm talking about with Danny, which is why I asked him to come on here. He had injuries. He knows he can't do that stepping. And so he found a way. He found the bike. He didn't have a bike. He rented a bike. I want people to really pay attention to what the things that he's saying is because he's dropping literal gems here. You know.
like I have plantar fasciitis, so I can't run. It's like like I would run for a bus, and then I would have to be out from work for like 4 or 5 days because my feet will
Wow.
hurt so bad. Like so, I had to learn my body and what
Yep.
works for my body. That's another thing too. Don't fall for what everybody tells you what you should be doing if it doesn't feel right, and if it's not right for you. You are the boss of your body, so you have to say like, nah, this doesn't work for me. Bicycle works for me. Bicycle may not work for you. You might do better on elliptical. You might be better on a stair climber. I'm not good with the stair climber. I could do a stair climber for like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And even though I live in a walk up, that's not the high intensity workout I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get the high intensity workout from a bicycle, and that's what I'm using, and that's what I'm gonna stay using because I know that that's what works for me.
Mm.
That was from Genesis.
What's
You
that
see the
now?
comment, Danny? You see the comment she put for you?
I can't. I'm on my phone and it's
Oh, you
very
can't see it?
small. And
Okay. She says, yes, Danny is looking good. That's from Genesis. So y'all might not need to connect across the pond. I think she's over in Europe. I think so. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I had another question for Danny. Doggone it, where'd it go? Um, um, da, 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 da. Oh, this is a question. Did it ever impact you as far as, like, I know you have a family, you say you have a daughter. Um, was that one of the pushing things that make you want to change, or was it still just you innately saying I'm sick of it? What did you? I mean, you don't have to tell us anything too personal, but is there
of
anything that
course,
your daughter might have said that made you like say, okay, or I don't know, going around friends or being out with her? Like, was that something that your child maybe was like, Daddy, you might need to work on it?
oh no, nothing like that. It's just like just the fact that I would want to live longer for her. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why, I want to live a good long life so that I can be there to support her because I'm basically all she has. So I have to make sure that I live a healthy life so I could be there for her. If she needs me, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? If I'm overweight and obese and got diabetes and things like that, now she has to take care of me. That's not right. The parent's supposed to take care of the child. Maybe when I get really old, really, really old, then maybe she could take care of me. But I really had to focus on taking care of her. And that was really, when I was thinking about it, yeah, I do want to live a longer life, better life for her. And when we go to the amusement parks, we go to the amusement parks together. So that's an embarrassment when I go with her to the amusement park and I can't fit on a ride with her. You know, that's very embarrassing. But when we did go back to the amusement park together and I got on the rides, it was like she was so happy and very proud of me. And actually, I've encouraged her because we're big people in our family. We have, quote unquote, big bones.
Big
And,
bones.
you know,
That's a myth, y'all. It does not exist. Very few people have big bones, y'all.
I
I've
know.
seen the
Listen,
X-rays. It's a myth.
I can
Okay.
tell you couldn't wait to come in on that one. I can see you.
It's a myth that we tell ourselves another lie. Okay, go ahead.
but I've
Hmm.
encouraged her also to lose weight. She's lost, I think, 25 pounds this year. She's on the bike
Good
with me.
job. What's her
She's working.
name?
Her name is Chloe. Her name is Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah,
Congratulations. So proud of you, Chloe. Good job.
and she works on it too. She went back to school this year, back in person because it was pandemic, and during the pandemic, and we was here. I'm working home remotely, and she's doing remote school, and she sees me exercising. She's exercising right along with me. You know what I'm saying? And I've encouraged her to start her healthy lifestyle. So she's doing very well. She's very happy. I had bought her this coat. I bought her a coat like last year and it didn't fit. And I had told her, I said, it's gonna fit. We're gonna get you into that coat. And when that coat got to fit her, she was so excited. She
Oh.
was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So she's feeling really good about herself. So, as parents, we need to, live by example, and that's what I wanted to do for her as well. That's a lot of my life. I try to live my life by example, you know, for her.
And I love that because me as a nurse, I can sit here and I can tell you, be healthy, do this, do that. But no, if you know how close I am to my dad, I couldn't tell his daughter, be healthy, eat right. But a father living the example, her watching her dad make changes, spending time with her dad, watching him on that bike, that's what makes the change, right? It's when you black men being in your daughter's lives, making these changes. No nurse, I don't care how many degrees I have, no doctor is going to do it like Danny's going to do it at his home every single day. Those are the changes that I want to see. Yeah. I'm happy that he's here.
No, I'm super excited. You get look, guys. I didn't even know she was gonna do this plot twist on me. She didn't gave me a super
I didn't know if he
wonderful
was going to show up or
surprise.
not because it was a last minute thing, and there was someone else. I won't name her name, but we have a common friend that had a heart attack and has been doing cardiac rehab. I was gonna ask her to show up also, but I was like, let me just try and see how this works out first. And I know Danny, he's really open, and he would have been like, yeah, no problem, I got you. So I figured, he would be willing to talk. The other person, I felt like, oh, I don't know, maybe they'll see this and be encouraged, maybe at a later date to talk about their story. But he's I just wanted him to talk because I know that as much as I come on here and run my mouth, no one's gonna do it like Danny does because he's walked your walk. He's done what I can't. I can tell you about what I'm seeing. I could tell you about you screaming and hollering and the diabetes and this, but I haven't walked the walk. So that's why I brought him on here to really to I'm serious to nail this in to bring it home, to really literally in your house. He's talking about how he did this at home, how he did this in the street, how he rented a bike, how he made changes. Like I can't tell you like he did, you know.
And he's
One thing,
speaking
one
his truth. Go
one
ahead.
thing a lot of people have a hard time with too. I mean, I know I'm a little bit extreme with what I've done. And I know, to be a little less extreme, if they put it in their mind that it took them 30 years to gain so much weight, they shouldn't expect it to come off in two
Facts.
days.
Facts.
You know,
And if
I'm
it
I'm
does,
ex-
that's not healthy at all.
I'm
Right.
I'm a little bit extreme with it. I did get a little extreme with it. It took me, like I said, a year and a half really to lose 150 pounds, but um, that's extreme. It was an extreme thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen that way for everybody because through their
True.
struggles and such. But they have to put in their mind that they want to do something and stick to it
Mm-hmm.
until it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's gonna be struggle. So stop using that as an excuse. Everything worth having, you're gonna go through some things for it. And just like Danny said, you didn't get that way in a day, in a month, sometimes even in a year. It was progressive and it stayed. So you have to progressively get the mindset that I'm not gonna lose it quick, and I don't want to lose it quick. I think that's a something I want both of you guys talking about, because I think this whole mindset of these lose weight quick, these diets, these pills, or even certain surgeries where some people are just doing it because it's a quick fix, not
Those,
because they're
yeah.
mentally ready. Can you guys both speak on if you feel like that is important or not?
On what's important, the weight loss surgery?
The mindset more so of you don't need to lose it so quick, because I think everybody feels like if they don't lose it in this couple weeks to a month and they don't keep it off, then they need to keep doing these quick fixes like lose 10
Right.
pounds in a couple days, or go get the gastric, because they just can't do it, instead of just going through the process, kind of like Danny said. I want you to
Right.
speak to it from a perspective because you see it, and then Danny's been through it, and just his whole vision and his mindset. So I just want you guys to both speak on that, the quick fixing of losing the weight.
Well, there is no quick fix. Like Danny said, like it took years and years and years of unhealthy diet. And oftentimes, you guys, like we grew up with these unhealthy foods in our homes. McDonald's these children are young and they're asking for happy meals. We grow up in situations in which it's just common, feed the kids and let them go to sleep. It makes them sleepy. There's a lot of unhealthy things that we do. So it takes a lot of changing your mind first, like he already said. But in terms of the weight loss surgery, I'm not a bariatric nurse. I work mostly, like I said, in the heart and vascular space, and sometimes the step down unit and the ICU a little bit. But in terms of bariatric surgery, there are complications. It might not be for everybody. I'm not going to say if it's the right or wrong thing to do because I don't know much about it. But what I can say is I've had patients that have had the surgery, and for whatever reason, they've had complications and they're stuck now with a tube in their stomach for the rest of their life because they're no longer able to eat food. And I don't know why this happens. I don't know if it's the sleeve or the G tube. I don't know why. I just know that I'm there feeding you through a peg tube, which is basically tube that goes into your stomach because of complications. And I've seen this over and over and over again. And I'm not sure if it's something that people realize that can happen. I specifically, you're talking about this, I'm specifically remembering a particular patient in mine who was having complications with the tube and from the gastric, got unfortunately complications ensued, came to us. Something was wrong with the tube, and the doctor had to make an adjustment. And this person was concerned because they were still young, they were still of dating age. And when the doctor made the adjustment, unfortunately, the doctor had to put a bigger tube in than what was previously there. And when she woke up, this patient of mine was pissed off because she's like, how am I going to have sex? Who's going to want to be with me? I got this tube that's even bigger now. And, you know, yeah, I don't know much about all the gastric stuff, but I can tell you this is the real life stuff that I'm hearing about and dealing with. So if you don't have to use that route, if you can do it the way that Danny, through diet and exercise, maybe you don't have to go as extreme as he does, because 1,300 calories is a little bit. That is extremely strong mindset to do that. That's really difficult.
Candid, what's the
But
average? 1,800? What's the average calorie count that people eat?
I think about 18 to 2,000, depending on if you're a guy
Oh,
or girl,
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And just basically, if you want to lose weight, they say like have a deficit of, I think it's about 500 a week or something like that. Danny can speak more to that than I can. But just, so in terms of the gastric surgery, I don't know much about it, but I do get patients that have complications from it. So I just want to let people be aware that it's not a one size fits all. It's not like a one and done and you're good forever. Once you have that surgery, you have to take medication for the rest of your life. You might have diarrhea for the rest of your life. There's complications behind that. It's not just one and done. Okay.
Thank you for
I was
that.
offered I was offered the gastric bypass when I was 450 pounds. A lot of people that get that tube in their stomach is because they didn't get the right mindset before they got the surgery. That mindset is like you have to put in your mind that you're gonna only have a shot glass worth of food when you eat. If you don't eat that shot glass worth of food and you eat too much food, you put so much food in your stomach, you have the possibility of it rupturing. And this is what the doctors told me. So I'm just relaying what was told to me. And if you rupture it, then you're gonna need to be fed through a feeding tube. Far as I know, I picked my struggle. You could pick a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Bypass to me, in my mind, it was like a cop out and an easy way out. I used to get into arguments with people who've had bypass. Oh, it's not easy. And I know it's not easy. Because if you go out to eat at a restaurant and they give you this big full size portion plate, you only can have a shot glass worth of food until that food digests. And if you have more than a shot glass worth of food, then you have the possibility of damaging yourself, throwing the food up. The food will come right back up, or worst case scenario, you keep doing it and you like basically explode your stomach. So bypass is not as easy as people think, but some people have done it and have had all these results from it, and still because they didn't change their mindset, they gained the weight back. So it's all about mindset. I wouldn't do gastric bypass. I'm not giving out medical advice, but I didn't do it, even when it was offered to me, and they said that that I qualify for the medical insurance to pay for it for free. I still said no. I said no to that surgery. So I put in my mind that I would rather do it through diet and exercise, discipline in my mind in order to do it, and then just get if I had to get the skin removed, I get the skin removed. That's it.
Let me see what they're saying in the chat because you guys got some more questions. Let's see, let's see. Candid Ann, I'm gonna say this because she put it in twice, but just hold your thought on it. I'll let you speak to it. I want to read all the comments. She's asking, do people of African heritage have denser bones? Let's see. Hold on. Hold on, she asked it twice, Candid Ann. So I'm gonna let you touch space on that, but hold your thunder. Um, let's see. Simon Hectic was saying Danny, Genesis. I don't know if he meant Genesis or Genius, but Vaughn says, in my opinion, it is better to lose the weight naturally. Genesis says, questions. Can both speak about emotional eating? So I'll let you guys talk on that too. That's I issue. Maybe she's saying that's my issue. So you guys, I'm gonna let Kendra Ann speak on the bones, and then both of you can soliloquy to emotional eating. Obviously, guys, be advised, this is not medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. Vaughn says, I went from 1,800 calories to 1,500 in a day. Adrian asked the same question again. It's Candid Ann, so that's why I want you to speak to it. Vaughn says it's called dumping syndrome. Genesis says, I have a friend who did that stomach surgery thing. To this day, she can't eat food properly. So, Candid Ann, can you speak to Adrian's statement? Do people with African heritage have denser bones? And then I want both of you guests to speak to about emotional eating.
I want to
So,
ask her why are you asking me that question? My question is like, what difference does it make when you step on the scale? Are you overweight? Like, who cares how big your bones are, how small the bones are? Like, I don't even understand why. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to figure out what difference does it make.
so
Even if you
Adrian,
had
tell
denser
her in
bones,
the
are you still
comments.
overweight? Then you still need to live healthy. Whether let's pretend you do have denser bones, you still should be dieting or eating well and exercising. If you don't have dense bones, you still should be eating well and exercising. So I'm not exactly sure, like, why this is even a question, because at the end of the day, I'm going to keep saying, you this is about living well and being healthy on the inside. I don't care if you have dense bones, then what difference does it make? You still have to do that exercise. Still, no matter if it's the 10,000 steps, the bicycle, the walking, it's the cardiovascular exercise, and eating a healthy diet, whether you have dense bones or not. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't even, so that's my answer to it. I know that it's probably not the answer that you want. I don't know the answer to it, but I don't know what difference it makes. That's why Danny
Okay.
laughed.
And and let's speak to
No,
this
you know
next
what? It's
question.
can I say something right
Go ahead.
fast?
No, yes.
We need a lot of our people. We need therapy. We just need it. I've gotten my therapy. I'm still in therapy. I still got my therapy, but we need therapy. I'm not making any judgments, but we do need therapy. We should get it.
It's a necessity.
Absolutely.
It's a
So
necessity. I did a
yeah.
live on that, I think a week or 2 weeks ago. I concur with you, Danny. Go ahead, Candy.
I mean, if you hear me talk about my political rants and things like that, you're gonna say I need therapy, and I'm in therapy. I get the therapy I need. You know what I'm saying? But we need therapy. You know what I'm saying? Bones,
Mhm.
bones. Our people need to get past that bone thing.
Yeah, it's just a myth. Most people, most Black people don't have this dense bone thing. But even if you did, a healthy diet and exercise is still very important.
Okay, she's putting the
Osteoporosis.
reason. Let me put it up here. Oh, so
Mhm.
basically, Peter Investor says Adrian Nash, one reason for higher bone density is the heavier you weigh, put pressure on the bones, produce cell strengthening. Other reasons is genetic or disease processes or others. And Adrian says, I asked a question about bone density because I thought I read somewhere years ago that osteoporosis is not common amongst Black women. That's why she says she asked.
Okay, so here we go. Let's back up a little bit to the first part about bone density. So let's pretend that you are this special person that does have very dense bones. That means that you will be able to withstand more weight. But the fact of the matter is, that's really not what normally happens. Osteoporosis is the opposite of that, meaning
Okay.
that your bones are more brittle and that it cannot withstand weight. So therefore, all the more reason for you to lose the weight because your bones are more brittle. But osteoporosis is a disease. It's a disease process in which you don't have enough calcium and your bones are becoming brittle. And it's usually something that happens to older people, but it can also happen to people that have cancer, that have a multitude of different disease processes going on. So unless you have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, or dense bones or whatever the case might be, I'm hoping that people are getting checked out and speaking to their doctor about it. But like, if that's not your struggle, then don't take on that weight just because you're Black or African. Don't make an assumption that, oh, I got dense bones, or I have this. If you have osteoporosis, I understand that you might not be able to lift weights or something like that. So you might have to do exercises that are a lot more gentle on your bones if that's something that you're struggling with. But this is just a generic thing that I'm talking in terms of exercising. I'm just giving like a very baseline level of information in terms of like just basically eating healthy and exercising. These questions about dense bones and stuff like that. Like I said, talk to your doctor and find out more information about it. But
And that's not her real specialty too, guys. So when I bring in different
exactly.
medical advisors on things, on topics, be cognizant of that. They can't speak to every topic. They can speak to what they actually work on in their profession. So everybody always be
That's
aware of that. Just because they're in the medical field doesn't mean they know the arbitrage of everything. They only can speak to certain things. So
right.
thank you for breaking that down, Candid Ann.
Mhm.
Also, Genesis says at Candid Ann, you were not here for it. Just hear about the weight
Yeah,
loss.
I just want people to be healthy. That's why in the beginning of this stream I spoke about Cali Muscle, because he's a muscle bound person. I spoke about bodybuilders, the one that literally died, who won Mr. Olympia, I believe. And you look at him and you would think he's the epitome of health. He's like got that V taper, thick muscles and everything, but still died of a heart attack. That's why I brought that up, because we get into these myths. There's a lot of myths out there. You would think, oh, let me listen to this bodybuilder, this is what he does, so it must be the right thing. No, these extremes are not healthy for us. I just want people to live long, because we talk about, in our community, I don't believe in generational curses necessarily, but if I were to talk about generational curses, when I'm walking around and I'm seeing a family, mother, father, both overweight, and they have a young child, 5, 6, also overweight, I'm like, when does this stop? We're just teaching our kids how to eat unhealthy, how not to exercise, how to eat the wrong foods. And if you guys believe in generational curses, this is definitely, obesity is definitely one of them. So I want us to focus on the right thing, which is basically just living a healthy lifestyle, not making it more complicated than it really has to be.
Okay, perfect. I want you guys to both answer this question. Question from Genesis. Both you speak on emotional eating. She said that's my issue. Can you guys both speak to that?
Oh, my question
Whatever.
to her is emotional eating in terms of you can't eat when because that's for me. If something is bothering me, I have no appetite. I can't eat.
No,
Danny,
I believe she's talking about eating. I think
Danny can
on
answer
what
that
Danny said.
then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eating because of your emotions and stress. I think that's rare where people just don't eat, and it's usually because it's a tragedy. But most of the time, people eat for every other reason. So I think she's speaking to emotional eating
So
because
how you deal
of.
with that, Danny? Yeah, how
Yeah,
do you
it's
deal with that?
easy.
Like even right now when life is happening, how do you choose to not go back into those habits?
You need therapy, 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 therapy. You got to talk to somebody about your childhood traumas back in the days. What caused you to feel good about eating? Because most of the time when you was younger, some bad things happened to you, and you coped with it by eating. So you need to seek the help. That I'm not a therapist. I'm not mental health. People call me all sorts of crazy. But you need to seek the help that you need to get. That's how what emotional eating is. And sometimes, once in a while, I may catch myself doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because like now I know what it is and I know where it stems from. You know, but that's how I dealt with like emotional eating. You got to talk to somebody about it, a professional that can help you work through it.
And how did you find one, Danny? Did you do because with this C19 going around, did you find someone through the what you
Um,
call it,
through my job,
telehealth?
they have a referral service through my job. I work at a hospital as well. They had a referral service, and I called around, and I did was through telehealth. I had my therapy sessions on telehealth, and
So, Danny,
but
can you speak to how that was? Because I think a lot of people are kind of nervous of they're so used to doing it where you're going in somewhere. Did you feel like it was still the same doing the telehealth compared to maybe seeing somebody face to face?
yeah, it was the same to me as opposed to seeing somebody face to face. It's like a mindset. Like I said, you have to come to the realization that you need some help. You know what I'm saying? That, we don't know everything, and you might need some help somewhere along the line. You got to come to that realization. We celebrate a lot of stuff that's like dysfunctional. We celebrate. We like, oh, you got to have fat positivity. That's positive. You know what I'm saying? And but you're dieting, to lose a lot of weight. Don't kill yourself. There's a lot of dysfunction in that. If you really sit back and look at that and be like, yo, this is kind of weird and crazy. So, just got to get the help that you need. If you have emotional eating, you find yourself, if you find that you eating, right? And it's making you feel like really, really good. You got this great euphoric feeling of dopamine from eating. That means that like you have like basically like a food addiction that's making you feel good. Like it's like a drug. You're not eating you're not eating really because your body is really hungry. You're eating because you want to feel good about it. And you have to be cognizant of that. If you're not cognizant of that, then you don't realize you have a problem.
And I think Danny, you just soliloquied into what I really wanted to say because I'm gonna speak to what Vaughn just said, and I think this is an epidemic in the community. He says, as children, we are always told to clear our plates. You don't have to clear your plate if you're full. Don't eat to get full, eat to fuel your body. And I trained my kids on that because I remember distinctly granny, my mom, them always saying, eat everything on the plate. When my granny turned around, oh, she used to cook liver, fried liver, and all that crap. When my granny turned around, I used to put that crap in the trash. I'm not eating that crap. But I think it's imperative because we've been told that. I think in most of the cultures that are not Caucasian, I think they've been told, like, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, blacks, Africans, people from everywhere, they've been told, eat everything on your plate and eat it all. And I think that's that subconscious that a lot of us, that trope we use to say no, we need to keep eating and it feels good, and soul food, and it's just a whole thing, this massive thing that's been created, and we feel like we have to. It's like a mindset. This it's subconsciously deep. Sorry guys, I always get into the psychological level because I understand it that way. It's way deeper than just eating the food, and I think it's a feel good thing from Big Mama, or we have big family dinners, or holidays and things of that nature. And I think it's imperative. What you guys need to do, and you might think this is crazy, but I'm gonna help a lot of y'all starting off. Go to the baby section in the store, Walmart, Target, whatever, and get a baby plate. That's how much food some of you guys need to be eating. Because the biggest thing is your portion control. You're eating too much of some things. And if you want to aesthetically see what it is, those little baby plates have it like portioned out. And some of us need to start there. Simple things that you can tangibly do. But I want both of you guys to speak to that statement that Vaughn said, because I think that right there, the whole being taught to eat all that food on your plate, has made these big adults that just make excuses now because they can't stop it, but it's been trained. So you guys speak to tell me if you agree or disagree with
Well,
that
I
statement and
can
what I
tell
said.
you, you guys know that my family's from the islands, right? My family's from Barbados. And so this is not Barbados that you know with Rihanna and all of the beautiful islands that you see. I'm talking about Barbados as a native. I'm talking about Barbados where my mother remembers the first set of shoes that she wore because she went to school barefoot. I'm talking about Barbados in the country on a dirt road. I bathed outside using the bathroom in the outhouse. Why am I all bringing this? Why am I talking about this? Is because food was scarce. And so this idea that my mom has about clearing your plate is because of the scarcity, the real life scarcity of food. Right. But that does not exist. That's something that existed when she grew up in her situation. And could have been taught to me, but it thankfully somehow it wasn't, but my mom did ask me, because I'm just small and I just don't eat as much as most people do. Just I don't know why, I just don't. But yeah, I do remember her talking about you should be grateful for that food. When I was little, I would be glad to have that steak. I didn't even see meat until Christmas time. That was real. My mom didn't even see what a ham looked like unless it was Christmas. And so this is my truth. I don't know what your truth is. I'm just talking about me as a first generation kid with parents from the Caribbean, from specifically Barbados, that grew up poor. And so there was a real life scarcity. And so she's telling me these things because that's what she knew. She's telling me these things because that's what she grew up with. She can't teach me what she doesn't know. But I'm in America. I grew up in America, and there is no scarcity of food. We're used to eating these things because that's what we grew up with, but there's no scarcity. I know people talk about these food deserts and stuff like that, and that's another topic to talk about. But you can deliver food. There's all kinds of options that you can have in terms of even when I was in the Bronx, there was Top Tomato. You can get fruits and vegetables there. There was so many different areas you can go to. And so you didn't have to wait for a mango to fall off a tree like my mom did to get a mango. You can go and get one right now without a problem, pay a couple of dollars. So, I believe, I want to say, I'm saying this because even though I agree that it's something that we've been taught and incorrectly so, we got to keep in mind that our parents sometimes did the best that they could. I don't want just to be like, I don't want to speak to it in terms of like it's not healthy for us, but give our parents a little bit of grace. And now that we are older and we know better, we can now do better. So that's where I'll end that. Yeah.
Good point. Good point. What did you want to add to that, Danny? Before, I thought there was another question somebody had for you. Danny, did you want to speak to that about the food?
No, I want to say talk about like if you so talk about some people they refuse to eat healthy because they say they want to eat organic food and things like that. And, I was just thinking about when she said something about the food deserts, and I was having a conversation with someone about eating organic versus non-organic, and a lot of people let that be a deterrent to them eating healthy as well. Um, I don't eat all organic. I do eat some organic, but I make sure that I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and a lot of fibrous fruits and vegetables. So I don't think it really matters if you're gonna eat garbage. You know what I'm saying? It's better to eat. It will be better to eat non-GMO produce than to eat GM organic produce. I don't know if I made that point correctly, but I'm saying, if you're gonna eat non-organic produce is much better than eating French fries and potato chips all the time.
Exactly. Do what you can, start somewhere. Like if you can't afford the organic, then fine. Maybe later on you will be able to, but if all you can do is buy the regular stuff, then just go ahead and buy the regular stuff.
Yeah,
And I
and
still
don't
buy
make
the regular stuff.
excuses, guys. I think that's the key point. Like they're giving you, Candid Ann and Danny are giving so many different options of how to do things. It just the key point is no excuses, guys. So just be clear when you're listening to them because they're not just saying do it this way. There's a plethora of knowledge between both of them. Somebody that's working in the field and somebody that put the work in. Okay, between both of them, there's no excuse for you guys to be saying I didn't get this, or they talked about stuff that was too expensive, or they're talking extreme. She's never been through it. He's never been through that. Be aware, guys. Take the meat and throw away the bones. Everything that she's saying might not apply to you. Everything that Danny's saying might not apply. But they're dropping gems on certain things. So I definitely want to make that clear. Also, guys, please be advised. This is not medical advice. It's only for informational purposes. That's what this is for. All right. Adrian Nash, if you're gonna come up, you need to come up. She said she wanted to ask you guys something on the panel, but I don't see her in here. And yeah, you guys have the floor, Candid. I don't know if you're ready to start going through the things, and then Danny could add to it. I don't know if Danny has to go. I really enjoy you being on the panel, Danny. But if you ever have to go or
Thank you.
anything, you can say something in the private chat. But otherwise, I'm just gonna leave you up here while she's talking. But did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Danny, you want to close out or do you
Oh,
want to stay?
No, he can stay if he
I
wants to, but I want to respect
Yeah.
his time if he has to go.
okay. Before I do go, I've been working while I'm talking to you guys,
Most
but
listen, most of the people that watch me are at work, so appreciate hashtag work gang.
appreciate really really, we need to kind of shun the idea of all this. We need to shun the idea of celebrating unhealthy lifestyles. It's like, I understand body positivity and all these other things. I'm not talking about to make fun of people. I'm also in the same breath saying that we shouldn't celebrate that because it sends the wrong message. It's definitely hard to live a healthy lifestyle. But if you encourage people to live unhealthy, then what we're gonna have, you know? You're gonna have more people out there like saying, "Well, I got big bones, and that's the problem. That's the reason why, I can't do anything about it." They'll make more and more excuses, and it's not good for us over the long term.
And this is somebody speaking that's lost like almost two people, guys. So once again, this is a person that was big. So you can't just say, "Oh, he's just trying to fat shame. He's just, he's slim now, so he's talking about people." Nope.
I get
He's
that a
telling.
lot too.
Go ahead, speak on that, so they can
I,
understand. Because you got to realize, Danny, people are coming in and out of the stream. So can you just kind of briefly retell your story for those that are just coming in the stream, and then say your stance on this body positivity and why it bothers you that it's being used as an extreme in some ways? You say.
so I was 450 pounds. 452 pounds. I lost 152 pounds. I actually lost more than that. I'm 290 now, so I'm lost more than 150 pounds. But it took me some time to do it. I did it through diet and exercise, and I just I don't like the whole body positivity thing. It's not, I don't think it's helpful to us. It doesn't, you know, the numbers show that our people are dying from diabetes and cardiovascular disease and all those things that we can avoid naturally just by exercising once a day, 30 minutes per day at minimum. You know what I'm saying? We spend a lot of time doing a lot of stuff that really doesn't help us live our lives. We put a lot of time, watching television, gossiping and doing all these other things that are not really helpful for us to live long lives, for even for our children. A lot of us have kids. So I'm very much so against this body positivity thing, and then taking off all your clothes in front of people and stuff, and you got everything hanging out there. It's just not right. So I do encourage anybody to try to do it the right way. Try to, well, not the right, well, the right way, just without surgery, doing it diet and exercise and things like that. I encourage people to do it. If I did it, you could do it. As long as you put your mind to it, you can definitely get it done.
And can we just drop his link? I left it in the private chat, Miss B Finesse. If you could just drop Danny's YouTube link so people can see his actual real life results to know that it's not a
Yeah, I
game.
put
He's
it in. I'll
really
put it.
okay.
Vaughn, can you drop it again? Yeah, I dropped
Yeah,
it twice.
here we
Vaughn, can
go.
you drop it again? Because I have
Yes.
something else on my what you call it. I think let me see. Guys, I think we got Adrian. Adrian, you're in the panel now. While I get this, let me go over what the chat's saying. The chat's saying Danny speaking facts, truth, and gems. Let's see. Revolutionary Thought is saying we are coddling each other. He's saying, "Hey sis." He's saying to you, Danny. He says he's so right. Genesis 1 saying to Danny, facts, fat and fat, PHAT, are two different things. Simon Hectic is saying Danny knows. Adrian Nash put up, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, Arthur Ashe. Genesis was saying earlier to you, Danny, where are you? Where are you going, Danny? She put a wink.
I
I
think
don't
because he's
know.
about to say goodbye, so she was saying where he going. Yeah.
All right, she don't want you to go yet, Danny. So she wants you to wait till the stream is done. Peter the investor says study on plate size, portion size, on effect on perception that does not necessarily lead to losing weight. Let's see. Candid Ann, Genesis says, great point. Yes, give parents their grace. Amen. Okay, so Adrian, you're on the panel. You said you wanted to ask Candid Ann or Danny a question. I hope she's not having connection issues. Adrian, can you hear us? Let me drop his. Okay, I seen you mute and then you unmuted, Adrian.
Do you hear me?
Yes, Adrian is on the panel. Hey, Adrian, how are you? Adrian, I see you're unmuted, but I heard you the first time. If you're talking,
Hello,
Adrian, we can't. Okay,
fellow
Hello?
Adrian.
panelists. How are you?
Yes, we hear you. We're good, Adrian. Adrian.
I know. I don't think.
Adrian, you're going in and out.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
moving around,
Hi.
Adrian? Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
So
We can hear you.
I was on a medication a few years back that. Can you hear me?
Yes. Keep talking. hmm Yes, we hear you. Keep talking, Adrian.
I think we lost her.
Doggone it. She always has like weird connection issues.
Oh man.
Adrian, when you come back in, we heard you. You were fine. Okay, hold on. Let me put Danny's information back in. But if you want, Candid Ann, you can start going through your list before
Okay, yeah.
Adrian
So
gets
these are
back.
some. So I just wanted to, Miss B Finesse, when we decided to do this together, she asked me to come up with just a few items that you guys could have at home that can basically just help you, just everyday health items that you might not know about or think about. And like I said before, you can, some of these items, if you go to Amazon and you type in FSA or HSA approved items, you can use, if you have that account, because it's November, you either use the money or lose it, you might to be able to buy some of these items, right? So I first spoke about a toothbrush. I know it sounds silly, but a toothbrush, you need to change your toothbrush every 6 months. And not
Candid, do you have the screen up already? Because I
no,
haven't added it yet.
yeah, don't
Tell
add
me
to it
when you're
yet.
ready. No, just
Okay,
tell me. I
yeah.
just want you to remember.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
Well,
I
guys,
still have
listen
it up.
and listen. This is not funny. She's about to break down the toothbrush
Yeah.
issue, and when she told me, I was like, "Ew, I can't believe people don't do this." But this is life or death. So go ahead, Candy.
Yeah, you can literally have endocarditis, and cardiovascular diseases, vegetation on your heart valves due to having issues with your dentistry and stuff like that. So just, January and July, buy your new toothbrush. It doesn't have to be expensive. If you want to go the electric toothbrush route and you have money for that, great, but you don't have to do it just on a regular. Obviously, you're going to brush your teeth and floss and stuff like that, right? But I'm just talking about, like, every 6 months, go ahead and get a new toothbrush. I feel like sometimes we forget about it. The toothbrush is there for a super long time and we don't think like, man, I got to change my toothbrush. But I just remember January and July, 6 months. Every 6 months, just change your toothbrush. Right. So that's one quick, minor, simple thing that you can do. Obviously, flossing and, getting your teeth cleaned every 6 months is also very helpful. Right. Another thing I want to talk about is a water bottle. Right. I think I have my little water bottle right here. And what I like about this water bottle is that, oh, Miss B Finesse, she got her water bottle also. What I like about this particular one, it has the time on here that you
Yes.
can kind of keep track of how often you're drinking or that you're not drinking. Like for me, I have a problem when I'm running around, especially at work. Nurses are oftentimes dehydrated because we're caring so much about other people. We don't have the opportunity to even sometimes eat ourselves. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to even use the bathroom. I'm not going to lie to you, where I remember specifically, I was in the ICU and my patient did not urinate in a few hours. And they literally at the bedside did emergency dialysis, right? That was for a few hours. I myself did not urinate for the entire 12-hour shift, right? Because I was running around so much, which is not healthy either, right? So if you are someone that is struggling with not drinking enough, this helps. And if you're someone that has to watch your water intake because you do have some kind of cardiac problem like congestive heart failure, we recommend, the doctors usually recommend, check with your doctor in particular, but they usually recommend 1,500 to 2,000 milliliters of water. And this can also help you because this is 32 ounces and it can tell you, like, you know what, I can have 4 of these for the day and that's it. And it kind of just reminds you not to go over if that's your struggle. So either way, whether you need to drink more water or keep track of how much water you're drinking because you're drinking too much, it can help you by just having one of these water bottles with the little increments on here as well. So that's another thing. The next thing I want to talk about is a blood pressure machine. Right, we're talking about cardiovascular health, and you don't have to. You can get this. Is definitely one of the items you can get on Amazon with your FSA or HSA approved. I've seen
You
it.
ready to bring it up? You want me to
Sure,
share it
yeah.
now? Okay, sorry.
Hold on. Let
There
me.
we go.
There we go. There it is. Right.
Okay,
And
here we go.
so, is it on?
Yeah, look on the screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So these are just a couple of items, and I'll drop the link below. You don't have to get these specific ones. Some of these ones are ones that I actually own in my home, and some of these items I'm just referring to, like the water
Okay,
bottle
hold
you
on,
see
Candid
on.
Ann. You got a question. How much water should we intake in one day? They're asking.
They recommend 6 to 8 glasses of water, but that's usually around 2,000 milliliters or 2 liters a day,
Okay, thank you.
usually in one day for most people. What is the damage control? I don't even know what that's about. Hello? I can't hear anyone. Can you guys hear me still?
No, sorry, that was me. I muted myself when
Oh,
you were talking.
okay.
Candid Ann, do you want Adrian to ask her question? She's back
Yeah,
on, or do you?
sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Adrian.
Absolutely.
Adrian, hopefully you checked. You're not having no tech issues. You're clear. Go ahead, Adrian.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, she must have switched devices. We hear you perfectly. Go
I
ahead,
did
Adrian.
switch devices.
How's your day going, Adrian?
It's going well, Mrs. B. Finesse. How is your day going?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad Candid Ann didn't give up and she's speaking to the community because I know she's frustrated. I'm so excited about her having a special guest I didn't even know about. We got Mr. Danny here representing New York. So we're here, Adrian. What was the question you had to ask?
So, Candid Ann, you didn't have to rebuke me about my bone question.
She said rebuke.
You didn't have to rebuke me.
I heard that.
So, look. Let me tell you something a little bit about me. So, I was on a medication a few years back that supposedly has a side effect of causing bone density problems. And so that
Osteoporosis?
was, ma'am?
You're talking about osteoporosis?
No, the side effect of the medication that I was on supposedly causes bone density problems.
But I want to know what problems. Was it making your bones more dense or less dense?
It's supposed to make your bones less dense.
Okay, and that is what's called osteoporosis. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. And so the foundation of my question was based on that. And so I thought that I had read somewhere, I don't know how many years back, I don't know if it may have been Essence magazine, Ebony magazine. I thought that I read that people of African descent naturally have denser bones. So relevant to my personal situation, I was just wondering if maybe I might have some insulation there, some kind of kryptonite there, some kind of genetic kryptonite there, that maybe this medication won't detrimentally affect me in the future. That was really like the foundation of my question.
Okay, well, that's a great question. I'm happy that you clarified what you're talking about, and there is no way for me to know that. The only way that you would be able to know that is through getting a bone density test with your doctor and finding out on a regular basis and finding out
Right.
how this medication is affecting you. So
Right.
that's unfortunately, there's no way that even the doctor, you have to find out by just getting it tested.
Right. So just back to my original question, like, have you heard in your professional life that people of African descent have naturally denser bones?
No,
Have
I
you
have
have
not.
you heard
I've
that?
heard a lot.
Okay.
I've heard Black people talking about that a lot.
Okay.
But I've never heard anyone in the medical field talking about denser bones in Black people. No.
Okay. So that was really my question. Not,
Okay.
oh, I have dense bones, and so that's why my thighs are thick.
Yeah, because that's what I hear a lot.
No,
That's where I
that's
thought you
no,
were
no,
going. So
ma'am.
thanks for the clarification. I appreciate your clarification because I hear that so often about, especially coming from a Korean background. Like I got made fun of, believe it or not. I got made fun of for being too skinny. My legs look hard. And, people in the Caribbean like women that are thick, that are meaty, that are like, I remember my mom, she once was thinking about losing weight, and her husband literally said, if you lose weight, you lose me. Like, because they like women thick. And so that's unfortunately that's what I was thinking about. So I'm happy that you
Hmm.
clarified.
Hmm. So yes, okay. Well, thank you for the
You're
clarification.
welcome. You're absolutely welcome. And best of luck to you. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so kindly. Okay, bye
Okay.
bye.
Okay. Adrian, you going back in the stream or you gonna stay at while she goes over?
I am going to go back on the stream, but I
Okay,
am
fam.
listening and
Uh,
supporting.
thank you,
Thank
Adrian. As
you.
always, I appreciate. Okay, that's my daughter
Okay.
talking, so you'll hear her screaming. I'll mute myself. Okay, so let me
That's
bring the
okay.
screen back up, Candid Ann.
Okay. Yeah, so these
Hold
are just
on.
a
There we
couple of
go.
items. I made a little list. I'll drop the link eventually when I finish talking about each one of these things and why they're important. Um, and like I said, what I'm telling you guys here, like I didn't put the toothbrush on there. This particular water bottle that I'm using is not on there. Just find a water bottle. If you don't buy it on Amazon, you can just print the list and buy it at Walmart, buy it at Target, buy it wherever. I don't care where you get it. I just listed it here because it was easy to everyone can access this as a source. So don't think that you have to buy this one that I pointed out. All right. So, like I talked about the blood pressure machine, a healthy blood pressure for everyone, I want to say for 90% of the people, is less than 120. The top number should be less than 120, and the bottom number should be less than 80. Right. That's a healthy blood pressure for most people. If you have had high blood pressure for a long time, the doctors are going to slowly bring your blood pressure down, because if you've been walking around with your blood pressure being high, it's not safe to like drop it really quickly. But eventually, we want to work our ways to a lower blood pressure. I think I have a blood pressure machine in my house, and I think it's important for everyone to have, because as you know, um, hypertension is what they call the silent killer. Right, because you're walking around here feeling just fine. Your blood pressure could be 170 something over 90 something, and you feel great. You don't know that this is creating damage not only to your heart, but to your kidneys. If you are, be honest with me, guys, tell me how many times you walk around and you see a DaVita's dialysis center, right? Dialysis people, a lot of people are on dialysis. A lot of people, I'm going to repeat, are on dialysis because of uncontrolled hypertension. Okay, because of uncontrolled hypertension, because uncontrolled blood pressure affects your kidneys. It literally damages your kidneys. And once you are on dialysis, that is a huge life change. You have to go to dialysis 3 times a week for hours a day. Most people can't sustain a job after having, because what job is going to allow you to be out of work 3 times a day for 4 hours? You're going to be on disability. It's a lifestyle. So I don't want you to go there. So I think it's important to have a blood pressure cuff machine. There's 2 different types that I put on there. There's one that goes around your arm right here. That's one that sits at your house. And there's one that if you have issues with your blood pressure and you travel a lot, you can put it around your wrist. And you got to make sure you follow directions to make sure that it is in the right positioning, but it can also be helpful. Another thing I want to tell you about taking your blood pressure is one high reading, anything over 120 over 80 is not an issue. Like 130, you're going to watch it. We start getting concerned when that top number gets to be over 140 and that bottom number is over 90, right? Consistently. If you're sitting down for 15 minutes and you're relaxed, that's a great time to take your blood pressure. Do not take your blood pressure when someone has just annoyed you, when you are screaming at someone and you're running around. That's not the good time to take it, because your heart is working a little bit harder and your blood pressure is going to be a little bit higher. So we recommend at least sit down in a calm environment for at least 15 minutes before you take that blood pressure reading. And like I said, one number that's high is not the end of the world. If it is consistently high, every single time you take it and you're relaxed, if you're seeing 145, 142, every single time you take it for like, a week, 2 weeks, then you could have a conversation with your doctor and find out what lifestyle changes you need to make, what's going on. Hopefully, diet and exercise will help you bring your blood pressure down, but you might need to be on medication. I'm not pushing medication. I'm just saying that you want to catch this early before it becomes a problem and you have further damage in your system, in your body. That's basically what I'm getting to. Okay. The other item that I have on here is a food scale. Let me scroll down a little bit. Is a food scale. I hope you guys can see that. A regular scale to weigh yourself. Danny spoke about this, I think, a little bit, and a food scale to weigh your food. Every single one of us should have a scale. And I don't care if you're on a weight loss journey or not, you should have a scale in your house. And you don't have to buy the most expensive one. I think the one that I have on here is $17. I think a digital scale is a little bit more helpful than the old school ones. And most of them are digital nowadays. But you should weigh yourself at least once a week. In regards to weighing yourself and how to do it, the best time, and I have a cardiac patient, the best time to weigh yourself is in the morning, after urinating, and before breakfast. Okay, when you wake up in the morning, after you go to the bathroom, and before you start eating, weigh yourself at least once a week. The
Can you say that
scale,
again? Can you say
yes,
the
sure,
specifics?
absolutely. So you're going to weigh yourself the same time every day, hopefully, or once a week, the same time though, in the morning time when you wake up, after you urinate, and
After.
before you eat your food, before
Okay.
you start eating.
Okay.
Okay. The scale should be in the same location all the time. You're not going to have the scale in your bedroom and then the scale in your bathroom and the scale someplace else. Try to keep the scale in the same location all the time. The scale has to be on a hard surface. It can't be half on a hard. I know this might sound silly because a lot of people, they might know, but a lot of people don't know these things. The scale can't be on half a hard surface and half on carpet. It has to be on a hard surface, tiled floor or wood floor or something like that. So find a place to have it and keep it there so that it's consistent. You might go to your doctor and their scale might tell you a different number, and you come home and your scale is slightly different. Don't trip on that. You're not going to go to the doctor and he's going to say you weigh 300 pounds and your scale at home says you weigh 150. That's not going to happen. Yes, it might be slightly off by 5 pounds or whatever, but that we're talking about, the trend, right? Don't get hung up on the fact that you went to the doctor and his scale said more or less than what you have at home. It's not going to say 100-pound difference. Okay. So you have I told you about the regular scale and a food scale. This particular food scale that I have on here, this is one that I know for sure you can get at Walmart because I used to own it at Walmart. And so when I saw this on Amazon, I was like, oh, I love this particular scale. And I think Chris Jones, if people know about Chris Jones, he uses the scale also. If you're on a weight loss journey and you are using MyFitnessPal and you're concerned, like, I don't know how much peanuts to have, I don't know how much walnuts to have, I don't know how much whatever it is, how much rice, the portions and stuff like that. You put your plate on there, you hit 0, and you can put in how much you want to put in. Because if you're using MyFitnessPal, it's going to ask you about portion sizes. And this is an inexpensive item. It's $22 that you can purchase to help control how much calories and how much portions, how much your meat, how much meat you're having, how much fish you're having, or whatever it is. This is really super helpful. So, if you are on a weight loss journey, I really believe a food scale is extremely helpful and important. Okay, so we spoke about the food scale. And I would like to talk about vitamins a little bit. Vitamins aren't for everybody, but I think most people will benefit from at least a multivitamin. I think most people will benefit from fish oil because it has those healthy omega-3 acids that all of us need. And a lot of us would benefit from vitamin D because most of us work in an office. We don't get outside. We don't have jobs that are outside. I know so many people that are vitamin D deficient. Keep in mind, talk to your doctor about taking any supplements because everything might not be right for everyone. If you're on dialysis, you really want to watch things like your potassium intake because your kidneys are responsible for regulating potassium, and if your kidneys don't work, you have to be careful. So I, keep all of this, in the back of your mind with a grain of salt, right? Find out what's right for you. And I also think
Exactly.
probiotics are also quite helpful. I don't know about, I know there's probiotic gummies. I'm not really into the gummies, but I think if you can eat like Greek yogurt that has it naturally inside there, because there's a whole study about probiotics, and when people are selling these pills, it's like 7 million microbes, and when they're selling you these pills, they can't get all 7 million. They might be selling you 2 million or 1 million or whatever is inside there. But when you eating Greek yogurt, you have a variety of those probiotics that are healthy for you. So I'm all about, if you can eat it, if you can eat a balanced diet, great. You might not need some of these things, but I think those four in general: multivitamin, fish oil, vitamin D, and possibly probiotics. But I think you should eat the probiotics, okay?
Candy Ann, quick question about the
Yes.
probiotics. Is it better
Yes.
to eat the active ones, like the drinkable one, or like the yogurt one, or the pills? Is it active, the
I
liquid things
personally,
better?
this is my personal opinion, okay? That I think it's better to the yogurt, the live active yogurt, and the
Okay,
the pills. I think you don't really know what's inside those things
exactly.
100%.
That's
And
true.
so I think it's more helpful if you can. I know some people don't like the taste of yogurt or the texture of yogurt. You can also do cottage cheese a little bit. You don't have to go overboard because, the fat and stuff like that. But
Right,
there's also items that you can, natural items that you can eat that's healthy for you, that has it in there naturally.
right.
Right. So let me see. Is that the list? Let me just make sure. A thermometer. That's something else I want people to have. Just a plain old thermometer, especially since I think people that are parents, you probably have one because you have kids and you want to make sure they don't have a temperature. But I was really surprised during this pandemic, if am I allowed to say that word, I hope, during this C-19
We can see,
thing.
yeah, C19.
Okay, during the C-19, a lot of people did not have a thermometer, and it's an inexpensive item that you can have. You don't know if you're
I
running a
got the little
temperature or
scanny
not.
one
The scan,
because
I
I
put
don't
both
like
of them on
touching.
there.
Okay, cool.
That's right, that's fine. I put both of them on there. If you're okay with using the one that goes under your tongue, fine. If you're using the scanny one, but you should at least have a thermometer, just to find out, like, am I running a fever? I feel kind of off. It's just an inexpensive item that you can have, and once you buy, you're one and done. Like, you probably won't have to buy another one for years to come. Right. And these other two
Guys,
last,
we want to give a shout out to Danny. He said in the
yes.
private chat he had to run off, so that
Okay.
was a special guest I did not know about. So shout out to Candid Ann for
Yes.
that, and
Thank
him.
you.
He was here at least about an hour, so that was awesome. I appreciate him, but he had to
Yes.
run. So thank you, Danny, for that, and we dropped his information in the chat. You can
Yes.
continue, Candid Ann.
Okay, yeah. And the other items that I have on here is, if you are diabetic, you really should have a glucometer at home. You would be surprised at how many people have high blood pressure and they don't have a blood pressure cuff at home. How many people
Interesting.
are diabetic and you ask, I take their blood sugar and
Oh, he
it
popped
says
back on.
200, and oh, okay. It
Did
says
Danny? Did you
200.
have to go? Did you have to go? Because I seen you in the private chat. You said you had to run. Can he hear us? He's not muted. I can see his things unmuted.
Can you hear us, Dan? Are you good?
Hold on, he's talking in the private chat. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
mean to cut myself off. Oh, so can you hear me? Can you talk? I didn't
Okay.
mean to cut myself off. Oh, so can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I
Okay,
can
you
hear
gotta
you.
cut
Can
off.
you hear me?
Yeah, you gotta cut off that other YouTube because it's gonna double play.
Okay, I'm gonna just.
Did you have to go though?
Yeah, I had to go. So
You're fine. I let everybody know that I appreciated you and that you had to go in Canada and kind of gave you a sign off. So it's okay
yeah,
if you
sorry
had to
about
go.
that.
No,
I do.
no,
I
you're
have to
fine.
go. I just wanted to say goodbye and thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming back. I appreciate
Yes.
that you
Thank you,
came back to
Danny.
say that.
Much love to you. Thank you.
And good luck for everybody on their weight loss journey. And if they can, take a look at my channel. Check out my older videos. My older videos really describe my weight loss journey. Shows a lot of it. Um, I'm gonna copy one of the significant videos and put it in your chat room before I
Okay.
go. But I do have to go. and I'm sorry I had to.
That's fine. And Danny, put it in the private chat because I don't
Put it
think
in the
it'll
private
let you
chat.
put. Yeah, I don't think it'll let
Okay.
you put links in there, and I'll paste it again. But I have my moderator put it in. I just put your link in. Let me put it in again. And I appreciate that you came back verbally to say it. But yeah, I did let everybody know because I wasn't looking at the private chat that you had to drop off. So anytime, Danny, you want to come back and you have a talk or come on the panel, it is open. We're here. This is the place we have conversations about better communication and relationships. And I really appreciate you being here. This was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
You
for
have a
having
blessed
me.
day and tell your daughter congratulations for losing that weight. I'm very proud of her for that.
I will. I'll tell them. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
And I'll talk to you later, all right?
No doubt. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's my
perfect. You have
buddy.
the
It's
floor.
crazy to
That
someone
was
that knows
awesome.
you from back in the day, but
Uh-huh.
cool guy. So
Okay, let me
got a
get
little
this back
distracted
up.
there. So yeah, I was talking about the glucometer. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you're diabetic, obviously a glucometer is super important. You would be surprised, Miss B Finesse, on
Mm-hmm.
how many people they'll come to the hospital and I'll test their sugar and it'll be 300 or 200 and I'll be like, oh, that's good for me. That's good for me. I usually want 400. Right? It's good for
Shame.
nobody.
No, not at all. We got
It's good
somebody else
for
on the panel
nobody.
that
Bring
wants
them up. Bring them
to
up.
speak to you. We got
Yeah.
XDMC, the
XDMC
creator
in the
of my
house.
intro. Shout out to my
One
brother
love,
T for the
family.
music. So you got the floor, X. What's up?
Well, I just I'm here, of course, working, but I had to because you said something that hit home personally for me, and that was the hypertension, high blood pressure, and for me, I was diagnosed with hypertension. I'm trying to think how many years is maybe 20 years ago, and what was so frustrating about that was I didn't know I had it. I didn't know I was walking around with it. And then one day my wife just said, you need to go and get a checkup. Even though I was feeling okay, at least I thought I was. Then when I got to the hospital, they checked my blood pressure. She said, whoa, this is high. This is 190 over. It was some crazy number. And so they say, we're going to have you come back. Came back, and it always stayed in that range. And so they put me on medication, which I hate taking, but I did. And when they put me on medication and my blood pressure got under control, I had no idea that that's how I was supposed to feel, because I was so used to feeling a certain way for so many, not months, but years, that it took my wife to push me to go and get that done. And then the timing of it was so perfect because it stopped. My heart was enlarged, but not enlarged to the point where they could not, that it wasn't reversible. And they got it in time. So now I'm good. And I've been taking, when I was first diagnosed, I was on 3 medications. I'm on 1 now. They took me off the other 2. A lot of that has to do with diet and things that I've learned about hypertension and cardiovascular disease, on how so much of it is reversible that we don't know.
Right.
And diet change, partnering with your doctor, exercise, I'm good. So I wanted to point that out, and then also just bring up something quick when you mentioned earlier, because I've been listening since the beginning. You mentioned earlier about your health, the body weight, and it's all about being healthy. Because I have a best friend of mine, one of my best friends, childhood friends, 6-pack abs. This dude was in shape. Died of a heart attack 4 years ago. And we couldn't understand what happened. And that's when I learned, even though I knew it, but it brought it home when it happens to somebody that close to you, that stress will kill you. And it was stress. It was just the stress. And it killed him. I won't go into super detail, too long of a story, but hey, the mental...
Oh, X, we can't say, I forgot. We got to say deleted or something. We can't say the K word.
Oh, well, it took him out.
Yeah.
So But that's it. That's all. I just wanted to come up and share that and appreciated Danny's story. Wow, that felt good to hear. You know, it's I love it.
Thank
So
you so much. Oh my God. Thank you so very much for talking about that, because I really feel like as much as I talk about these things, it's so much more important when people that are living this talk, and you're basically saying the same thing that I said, but you actually experienced it. How I told you one blood pressure, one high reading isn't enough. You went back over and over and it kept saying a high number. And then at that point, you worked with your doctor and
yes,
you made sure you got it under control. And I want people to understand that, like when I spoke about Cali Muscle earlier, his doctor told him about this and he didn't work with his doctor. And so therefore you would look at him and you would think that he was ripped, but he ends up dying of a heart attack. And so I'm so appreciative. And another thing that you said, that you were walking around, you didn't even know that you were not feeling well until you got it under control and you realize, wait a second, this is how I'm supposed to be feeling. That's why they call it a silent killer. And I'm
yeah,
so happy that you were able to speak to that, because people think that I'm talking and I just want to push drugs on people. I want to push medication on people. I'm just indoctrinated with the white man's medicine and all this kind of crap. But if they hear it from someone that actually is living it, it drives the point home. And so I'm
absolutely.
so appreciative, and I have to tell you guys, men that are living alone, men live longer usually when they're married, because you have someone that's going to encourage you to go ahead and get checked out, to go ahead and push you to go to the doctor and figure these things out. If you were living alone, I'm not saying that you would not have eventually went to the doctor, but maybe you would have waited longer and it would have caused more damage. And so I am seeing at the hospital men that live alone, where there's no one there to tell them, like, lose the weight or to encourage them. They're coming in not well, unkept, not cared for, because they're by themselves and they have no one there to motivate them, to push them until the situation becomes so dire where they can't breathe anymore. And that's not what we want. Go to the
Right.
doctor regardless whether you're married or not. We want you to go to the doctor, but I just want to make the point that sometimes having that person that loves you and cares for you, it really is helpful. It's very helpful.
Yeah,
But thank
it's
you.
I do agree with that. I would, and I tell you, if it wasn't for her, I wasn't going no time soon. Because I wasn't overweight. I figured, hey, people get headaches every other day.
Hmm.
I thought that was normal. You know, um, a nosebleed here and there. Oh well, I'm working out, so that comes with the territory. Even though I never read that, I'm making these excuses so I don't go to the hospital.
Hmm.
But then when I got engaged and got married, and
Mhm.
that changed. Hey, when the last time you had a checkup?
Yeah.
And that's when they found it. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Thank you.
But and thank you for your time. Thank you, Miss B Finesse. Thanks. I just wanted to, like I said, that high blood pressure story touched what you were saying, hit home, and I just had to come in, as they say, testify. And one
There
love,
you
family.
go.
Take
One
care.
One
love.
love.
Thanks,
Thank
X. Thanks,
you.
X.
Thank you.
Candid Ann, did
Wow.
you say you finished your list? I'm gonna
Let me
make sure
see
I
right
bring that
quick. So I
back
talked
up.
about the blood
Oopsie.
pressure machine. I talked about the glucometer, and another minor thing that I do want to talk about, just because I changed so many diabetic wounds, I want to let people know, if you are a diabetic, and this is only speaking to people that are diabetic, to please, please, please make sure that you have comfortable shoes. I will not, on this little minor list that I created for you guys, you're not going to see shoes on there because I'm not recommending any particular brand. I'm just going to tell you to talk with your doctor and please wear no open toe shoes, because diabetes is it's a horrible disease. You end up with something called neuropathy, and when you have neuropathy, you don't know that you have a minor cut or bruise on your foot until it gets infected. When you have diabetes, you have what's called, not always, some diabetics, when it's poorly controlled, you have poor wound healing. I have stories on top of stories. I remember there was a patient that I had who literally, I was in there doing a dressing change on his foot, And I asked, like, how long was this bleeding? Can you tell me, just guess how long before he came to the hospital that wound was bleeding before this man came to the hospital? Just take a wild guess, Miss B. Finesse.
I say, probably a week. He's a guy. 2 weeks? A month?
A
2
year.
months. Oh, gross.
An entire year. This person would allow this thing. That's how much men do not want to go to the
That's
hospital,
true. They don't.
especially
They
if
hate
they
going.
know they're diabetic. They're scared.
I know.
They're
They're always
scared
scared.
because they
That's
don't want to
true.
get something amputated. But the thing about it is, you have to wear comfortable shoes. Your hygiene. I'm going to make on my own channel an entire video talking about hygiene, because it's not just about, I love smelling good and looking nice and stuff like that, but this hygiene situation is
It's
a serious
imperative.
situation, especially if you're
Yeah.
diabetic. So those are the few items that I put on there. Oh, I also put, I'm sorry, I forgot, I added this on here just because of the C19 situation. I also added a pulse
The pulse.
ox,
Yeah, that's right.
right? I added one of those because of the situation that we're in right now. And also, I know I spoke about cardiovascular health. And if you are, like, it's an inexpensive item also. It's something you can buy at Walmart. You don't have to buy it on Amazon. But while you're walking, I remember Uncle Stu, his daughter, she was saying that she has asthma. And here I am telling people about cardiovascular health, walking, exercising, stuff like that. But if you have one of these things and you're walking and you see that your oxygen stacks are going down, then stop. It's an easy way to take a look at how you're doing and know whether or not this exercise might be a little bit too much for you right now. It might not be your thing. You might have to find something that's a little bit less intense at the moment until you work yourself up into those things.
So that's actually imperative, because a lot of people, when they're exercising, Candid Ann, they're like, oh, if I'm feeling dizzy or woozy or lightheaded, that's just the push. I need to just get over the push. But so having something like that, you can tell, no, I'm being
my
pushing
oxygen is actually I mean, I
that's
understand the
that's
push because we do
imperative.
want people to sweat, right? But your oxygen levels should not be dipping down too low. It should be 95 to 100. That's the number that most people are at. If you're at 93, okay, but when you start seeing 90, 80 something, but you better stop, because your brain needs oxygen more than anything else. Okay, the rest
That's
of your body and your
important.
heart need oxygen too. But if your brain is without oxygen for just 4 or 5 minutes, you're gonna have brain damage. This is what happens when people drown, when people have heart attacks, and that circulation isn't providing oxygen to your brain. You don't just end up in a in the hospital. You can also end up with neurological damage as well. So many things that could
So
happen.
important. I never
So
even
many
really thought
things.
about that. Like
Yeah.
the oxygen level when you're exercising is imperative, because you could be going to extremes. Oh
Right. And
wow,
that's why they
that's
put
very
those little
important.
monitors as well on the some of those. I think at the gym they have like those heart rate
They got the
things, and
heart rate. Oh, that there's
right.
a pulsometer on there too.
I'm not sure if there's a pulse ox, but
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
pulse ox that's on there, it gives you your heart rate and it gives you your oxygen as well. Those things give you
Gotcha.
both. So those are some of the things I
And I
put. They're
have
not
one
an
of those.
extensive list. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a pulsometer. I
Oh,
have that because
good.
ever since C19, I got one for
Yeah,
me and the
yeah,
kids and the husband. So,
exactly.
and it's
And
simple to use, guys. It's just two
mhm.
readings on it. It's not anything that's just hard to figure out.
Exactly. And you can alcohol swab it down because it's all rubber or silicone rubber inside there, and that's
Yep.
it. There's another minor little thing I put on here. You'll see that little pump thing right there. If you guys, I spoke about the toothpaste and toothbrushes. If you guys use Listerine and you have children that like to waste the Listerine by pumping it out a lot or whatever, there's or by spilling it or anything like that, or using too much of it, there's a little pump that you can buy right there on Amazon. And just like I found it at my dentist's office when I went in there, they had this pump, and I was like, where'd you find this pump? It was right on the Listerine thing. So I went on Amazon and I searched, and I think it was like $7. I can't even really remember. And I my husband, we use that little pump to pump our Listerine out, our mouthwash, and we use a shot glass. Just a shot glass is more than enough. You can rinse it out right in the bathroom and leave it there. You don't have to waste buying those little throwaway ones and buying them and buying them. A little shot glass is perfectly fine. Go into the supermarket or go into the that little section and use a shot glass, and that's just perfectly fine for your mouthwash. So that's about it. That's the little list. I will drop the link
Perfect.
below.
Perfect. I
And
mean,
if
this
anyone
was
has any other questions, or if there's anyone else that wants to come up and ask questions, I'm more than happy to the best of my ability, answer whatever questions people might have.
Yep, guys, we're gonna go cause yeah, I got about another 15 more minutes, guys,
Okay,
and
great.
then I'm
Yeah.
gonna get back to family. But what I didn't even think about, which I thought is really really imperative. And let me put the list in. So Candid Ann, she has done everything for you guys today. She was this is just an awesome guest because she came super prepared. Let me type so you guys know what this is. Hold on a
And like I said, this list that I have here, while she's putting the link up below, you guys, you don't have to buy this exact one. The only thing on here that I actually own I own all of these items, but I'm talking about the make, model, and all that stuff, is the food scale and both of those blood pressure cuffs particular. I own all these items. I have a thermometer here. I have a pulse ox. I have a water bottle. I have all those items. I have a scale, all those things, but I don't have that exact one. So don't get held up on getting the exact one. Just get whatever you can, whether it's at Walmart, whether it's at Target, or wherever you can find it. It's just a list, and you might find some of these things helpless, especially the food scale. If you're trying to lose weight and that's an issue for you, I think the food scale and the regular scale is one of those things that I think is really super helpful, as well as the water bottle. I think they're all important. So yeah.
super important, guys. So yeah, if you guys want to come up, we got Vaughn dropping the link. You guys got about we
Just
got
a
about
few
probably
minutes.
10 more minutes or 15.
Okay.
Because I don't want to impede on my guest time. I
No
know
worries.
I can't impede on my family time also, guys. And I just think the information is so important. Oh, question. Okay, we got a question. What do you feel about the iWatch, Miss
I'm not.
Candidan?
So let me tell you, that iWatch has been amazing. I don't own one myself, but that iWatch, I have had patients that iWatch, that Apple Watch, has literally found, they were looking at it and they were like, wait a second, why does it say 140? Why? And they were in what's called atrial fibrillation, which is a situation that
Yeah,
you
what's
need to go
that?
to the hospital to take care of. Right?
Wow.
AFib is when your heart is beating irregularly. There's a lot of different ways in which your heart can beat irregularly, but I literally had a patient that was like, I can't believe it. My iWatch told me about it, and so I think it's wonderful. Use whatever you can. If you have the iWatch and the technology is there, like, this person really didn't even realize it and came to the hospital and told me about it. So I think it's great. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you very well. How are you tonight?
Sorry, we have Simon Hectic here. I mute myself when people are talking, so I was muted. He's from over the pond in London, correct? How are you today?
I'm cool. How are you?
I'm well. Is there anything you wanted to ask the guest, say from the topics we discussed? You have the floor.
Yeah, so just briefly, thanks for having me on your panel, Miss B Finesse. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet you, your guest. So like in males, like in higher living rates with in comparison to like having like a partner, for example, you were saying that was something that you've experienced.
Well, yeah, just when you have someone accountable, like whether I don't care if you are heterosexual, homosexual, whatever the case might be, when you're living with someone and they encourage you to go to the doctor, get checked out, the studies show, and I could just say that my experience shows that when people live alone, whether it's men or women, even women that live alone, when they fall, something happens to them, there's no one there to take care of them, to say, hey, you've fallen, let me call someone for you. So I was just mentioning that, like, just like the gentleman said, his wife was the one that encouraged him, because if it was for him, if it was left up to himself, he would not have paid attention to it. And I can, maybe eventually I'll tell you, I do have a video on my channel in which I might have told you that I almost divorced my husband, which I really wasn't going to divorce him, but I was so fed up with the fact of him fighting me about going to the doctor. I was so fed up because he just didn't want to go, and he has healthcare insurance, he has coverage, just didn't want to go. And so it was
Wow.
frustrating, because so when you love someone, I just want to tell you that you're not responsible. Like, I'm responsible for my health, but it also affects my husband. I can't tell him what to do, but him not
Right.
taking care of himself, it affects me. So I
Affects
just
you.
wanted to talk a little
Wow.
bit about that. I didn't want to hone in too much on it, but I was just saying that, like, when you're with someone, sometimes it's encouraging. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they have bad eating habits and it's not helpful either. But sometimes there's a benefit to having someone that can say, listen, I see a change in you. Let's go to the doctor, and encourage you.
Well, I have a
I no, I
comment
totally
on
agree
that
with that.
really quickly. Hold on, Simon. I have a question. What was love enough, Candid Ann, on that to bring you back to him, or did you
Oh,
just wait
I
for
love
him to
my
be
husband.
ready?
Listen, that's a whole new story for I could, oof, girl, that's a whole thing. Okay, that's a whole thing. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I'm gonna have to table that, because that's a whole thing. Okay, but
What I really was trying to get to, I just kind of specifically wondering, is love enough to stay with somebody in that is unhealthy, not an unhealthy relationship, but they are unhealthy, or do you have to wait till they're ready? Is there any way you can answer that in like 3 sentences?
I don't even know the answer to that,
Okay,
because
don't
as
okay,
much
don't worry
as you
about
love
it.
someone, I can't, like, I love my husband wholeheartedly, but I can't love him enough to do what I think he should do for himself. Black men are very stubborn. And when they
They
don't want
are.
to go, they don't want to go. And he's 200 pounds. I'm 125. I can't make that black man do a doggone thing that he don't want to do. I can't make him do nothing. All I can do is cry, whimper, threaten, but I can't do anything. And I love him immensely. But if he don't want to go, he doesn't want to go.
Did he end up going though?
He ends up getting a stroke. But I told you that's a different story for a different day.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that's a different one. Wow. Okay,
So
Simon, go
I'm
ahead. You got
talking
the
to
floor.
you
My
from the
bad.
heart. Like, I'm not talking everything, but when I tell you these things, I'm talking from the
You're
heart.
talking so deep because you didn't talk about that. I think
I
you're
didn't.
thinking that you
There's
told
things
us
that I haven't
stuff.
spoken about, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is real. This is not just my life in terms of my job. This is my real life in this house.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm only, I know there's a limited time here, but when I talk about this, I don't know, girl. Let the guests
No,
talk. Let the guests talk,
it's
because I could
no,
go on.
just
It's
talk. No,
real.
because I didn't know it was that deep. I've seen some of your videos, but I didn't see that video. So I didn't. This is really touching a sensitive area with you. You're not just saying this for community and for
Yes.
health. Like it's really hitting you. Simon,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm gonna let you speak because you're on the panel. You're a guest. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss or ask her? I don't want to impede on the conversation.
Yeah, no, sorry, that sort of hit me as well. So it's just
Yeah.
what I was going to ask was in relation to that, in relation to the question that I posed, um, in regards to like the opposite effect. So like what in terms of like speaking from a man to a woman, in terms of, let's say if she's putting on a bit of weight, um, uh, that can be a bit tricky, because in my experience, I've turned around and maybe said something like that, and it's not actually been taken well. Although you might have the best intentions. Um, so
Oh, I think
do, do you
that's a good
understand where I'm coming
question.
from?
I do. So what he's asking you is, should he be direct in a sense because he's trying to save that person's life and letting them know it's important, or should he be careful with how he's speaking because he does not want to affect the relationship and affect what his heart is trying to do, which is look out for the woman's health. Well, what do you have to
Right.
say on that, Candid Ann?
I think that's a
That's a good question.
great
That's a
question,
good
an
question.
amazing question, because oftentimes I don't want to say black women, but women, we don't want to be told we're too this, we're too that, or anything like that.
Nope.
We don't take those things easily. But I can only speak from my personal experience. I've been married for 16 years now. I'm with my husband for 20, I don't even can't remember how many years. Since
Long
1997 we've been
enough. Long
together, long
enough.
20 something years. And I really feel like one thing that we are pretty good at is how we communicate. So communication isn't just about like you're too big, you really, sometimes if you know the person, sometimes it takes just a gentle conversation. And men, sometimes you guys are not the best at sitting down, touching the person lovingly and saying, listen, I'm nervous. I want to be with you, but I'm scared. I want to have kids, but I don't want our kids to have a unhealthy lifestyle. It really just explaining, not just talking about like you're too big and I'm not attracted to you being so big. Sometimes it really just takes like explaining where your heart is at, and having a real life conversation. Like I said, here I am, a registered nurse, and you think I can make my husband do anything? I can't make him do nothing. Nothing. So I'm talking to you and suggesting these things to you, and I've lived some of these things, but until the person, sometimes it takes a health scare for them to say, oh, okay. So I did the best that I could, and it didn't always work until there was a huge health scare, and now he's on it. But you just do the best that you can. And my husband isn't someone that's super overweight or anything like that. Like he's got the proper BMI. He's not obese or anything. But at any rate, yeah. So I think sometimes it's really about talking to someone in love. And I think women are more receptive when you talk to them in a loving manner. Now, I know a lot of the men are going to talk about, oh, you got to coddle these women and stuff like that. But if you actually care about someone, imagine if it was your mom that you were talking to, would you talk to your mom in the same way? If would you talk to someone a cousin or a friend that you really care about? You take a little bit more time to explain to them why you care. And if it's a matter of like you're not attracted to them anymore and you don't care that much about the person, I guess this person here, heck no, say
Yeah,
no if
be
they're
honest.
overweight.
No,
You
but
have to
I
be
think you gotta be
honest.
honest. And
But
tat
yeah,
is a simple common sense thing. Like she just said, like don't go overboard. And if you do, just like she said, you probably aren't feeling that person anyways, and it's time to get out of the relationship.
yeah. So all you can
But
do, because it's gonna affect your children. Do you want your
yeah,
kids to be overweight? Like you gotta explain, like I care about you, but I can't see a life with you if this is how it's gonna be.
All right. That's cool, man. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate you bringing me on, Miss B Finesse. I appreciate your guest. I'm gonna tune in
Thank
definitely.
you.
I'm gonna stay tuned. Very great conversations.
Thank you.
thank you. How are
Thank
the kids
you.
doing, Simon? How are your kids doing?
Yeah,
Good.
my kids are brilliant, man.
Good.
You
Good.
don't
Good.
know. I'm
Glad to
gonna bring
hear
my
that.
kids up one of these days, and you guys are gonna just be like, "Damn, they're from another planet." Like, nah, they're scaring me every day, as they
Yeah,
should be.
they're in this scary world. So hey, we just got to do what we got to
Yeah.
do and keep community going and just keep helping each other. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
no,
they're
they're
well.
brilliant.
Yes.
They're brilliant. I love my kids. And
Good.
that, I want them. I want them to have something to look forward to, and that's why I keep sort of like plugging in. And they're watching in the background, but I'm not going to bring them on right now. Maybe in a couple of years. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine as long as they're
you
getting
guys take care.
good information.
Take care.
You have
Thank
a
you for
great day,
asking the
Simon.
wonderful question. Bye.
See you
Bye.
later.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's awesome. He comes in from London, I believe. He's in London, and he always has great things to say and add to the conversations. Wow, you know what? Like I said, Candid Ann, we can go forever. We're gonna have to definitely do a part two whenever you're ready and willing. Because, well, first off, I want to know, how did you feel about it? Because I know you had discretions about how people will receive you. How do you feel?
Well, I haven't been looking at too much of the comments. I've been really just trying to focus in on the conversation, but I'm so thankful that Danny came up and spoke his truth. And I'm so thankful that the people that came up on the panel came in and spoke their truth, because I feel like over and over our community doesn't really trust healthcare community, and there's good reason why sometimes. you know um there's a lot that needs to happen in terms of building the communication bridge between doctors and nurses and healthcare providers and members of our community. However, I'm happy that these people were able to come up and talk about their truth, how they lost the weight, about the hypertension, how they felt, like things that, like I said, I could go on here and talk about me, but I'm happy that people heard it from others. So I feel a lot better about the conversation. I wish that this would get 1 million or 1,000 or 100 views, or just because I feel like the information is so incredible. The importance of this is so incredible. I know people on here for entertainment, and when it comes to eating right, it's kind of like a damper, but I just want us to, more than anything else, I don't want us just to have we are sharp, right? We look good. We spend our money in looking so good. Like Black people, we got style, right? We are known for having style. We are known for. I grew up in the Bronx.
Right.
I'm a 70s baby. I grew up in the 80s, and from being in the Bronx, it's hip hop, and we're what you call it, we're innovators, we are trendsetters, we do so much, but I want us to take care of ourselves. We have too many people in our community that are dying too young from things that can be avoidable. So that's the reason why I came up. I decided to do so, to put my own personal feelings to the side and do what I could by coming up on here and speaking to that. And I don't know if I'll come back again. Maybe not. I don't know. But I hope that whatever I put out here on this video, I hope that at least it's able to reach as many people as possible, and that people will really take it to home and talk to their friends and families and change the way they eat and change the decisions that they make, and change the way that children are eating. Change, if it's too, I don't want to say it's too late, because I don't think it's too late for anybody, but if you do have kids, teach them something different and stop encouraging them to finish their plate. Change the kind of foods they're eating, because when they're young and they're eating vegetables and that's what they're used to, it's a lot easier to get them to keep on that trajectory than to try to change them when they become teenagers from eating all the
Right.
fast food, the McDonald's and all that stuff. If you make those changes earlier on in their life. So, and I don't even have kids, so I'm happy that Danny was able to talk about, his daughter and losing weight also. But these are just
Right.
things that I'm seeing. So yeah, it came out really well. I'm thankful. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the people that asked the questions, and they were great questions. And thank you for dealing with my frankness, because I know I'm very. That's why I named myself Candid Ann, because I know who I am. And I know what I'm.
Well, I don't feel like, to me, like I told you, I deal with so many different people and personalities, and I'm basically a reflection of how you are. I don't feel like you're so frank that it's not receivable. I think maybe you've gotten that from people that just weren't ready to hear what you had to say, but I don't think that's here. I think what you're saying is passion, and we here have enough sense to discern the difference from somebody just over talking us to somebody being open and available, I guess, aka vulnerable, to get us to know, because you didn't have to come here. You could have just stood on your ground and said, listen, forget it, they don't listen here on my channel. I don't feel like going to anybody else's. But I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity. When I heard you talk about it, I said, I want you to talk about this. And I remember you saying, I don't know, because they're not going to listen. I don't care. I just want you to just be vulnerable enough to come and say it, because we don't know who's going to be on this replay, who you're going to touch. You're going to touch so many different people. I mean, at one point, I believe we had like 30 people on there. And that's good for me, because I'm a little YouTuber where I have like 400 subscribers. So, I'm just excited that you gave me enough trust to come here, because I know your inclination was you didn't really want to talk about this. So once again, guys, show her love. Go to her channel, check her out, and just follow this advice, because she really was kind of dismissive of doing this because of the
Just
the
because
turnaround that you get from
Yes,
people.
exactly. It's the pushback. It's the, like, Jesus is gonna save me. Just a lot of excuses that, like, I
Ignorance,
hear
excuses.
over and over and over again. And even I understood later on the comment, but like, I do hear about the big bones a lot. I do hear like just different things that I'm so used to hearing that I was like, oh, here we go. I just felt like just disappointed. But like, there was a quick question, but I'm happy that
Oh,
I
there's a
came on.
question. Here's a quick question. I don't know if you can answer this. Do you know any natural remedies that increase the immune system, or any things they can take? Because she did talk about vitamins earlier. Do you think that can help the immune system, or is there anything you can speak to that you know
Diet
of?
and exercise. Diet, eating
Together.
a
So
healthy
there's not one
diet.
thing she's saying.
Yeah, a healthy diet and exercise. I'm not one of these people that believe in this route and that route. I'm not saying those things aren't helpful,
But
but
that's not the only
a
thing.
balanced diet. Right, I just touched on go look up a Mediterranean diet, and I spoke
Yes.
to you about like what that involves, and you choose what's best for you in terms
That's
of,
true.
okay, I don't like salmon, but I can do tuna. I don't like mackerel, but I can do trout. Whatever best is for you. But you'll see on there a variety of different things, and we're creative. I'm like, if we can make chitlins, I don't eat chitlins, but if
Ugh.
y'all can make chitlins taste good, you mean to tell me you can't make fruits and vegetables taste good? Like, we can be creative. If
And
we
you
can
can
make some
add,
of
guys,
this,
add spices and stuff. There's all kind of toppings
absolutely.
and spices you can add. And he's saying thank you. He's saying facts. And
Of
you guys might
course.
want to, if you just came in, go back on the replay. She went into detail about the Mediterranean diet, and she went into detail about a lot of things. So you
Yeah.
definitely, this is a replay episode.
Yeah.
She went into detail about so many things. It was really
Hmm.
awesome. It was really awesome. So and Peter the Investor is saying get your vitamins and minerals from your
Your
diet too.
diet, yes, if that's possible. That's the best way to get it. But like, I know that, for instance, vitamin D is something that we get from the sun, and most of us are stuck in the house, in
Yeah,
an office,
inside.
in the school, in the hospital. So I think that if you can't be outside because you have to work, then a vitamin D supplement is fine. But of course, before you even take that, go to your doctor. Find out, are you even
Exactly.
lacking in vitamin D? Here I am on YouTube. I'm just a talking head. Go to your doctor, find out, are you lacking in that, and if it's something that you need. I just mentioned it because I see so many people need it because of the work that I do, but that doesn't mean that because I see that it applies to you.
That's
Find out
true.
from your doctor.
That's true. So, Candid Ann, we're gonna do like we always do on all my
Hmm.
shows. We're gonna do a call to action. So you're gonna have the
Hmm.
floor to
What is
just
that?
speak and say. So call to action is pretty much people just talks on all these channels. They either are going back and forth arguing, they're just talking about people and not giving the others the opportunity to come. So what we like to do here is when we talk about things, we like to do a call of action. So it's something where we are active or we're activating. We're telling
Okay.
specific things. We're taking everything we said into a nutshell, and whatever you feel like is the most important that you said, I want you to speak to the people on that, and then we will end on that. So you have the
Okay.
floor. Call to action, whatever you feel like you want to say, what they need to do, the best thing they need to receive and hear, or just
Hmm.
whatever you want to put out in the
Okay, so
atmosphere.
the call of action that I'm gonna say, because I just found out about this call of action thing. It's on the top of my mind. Is definitely the diet and exercise, which I'm gonna keep saying over and over and over again. There are two apps that I do recommend. One is called My Fitness Pal. Please look into that. I know that it can be a little frustrating in the beginning, but if you can do My Fitness Pal just to watch your calorie intake, and you can start off with my calorie intake, but as you get more and more into it, you can then start talking about macros. That's something you're going to look up on your own. That's a whole new conversation later on, but that's a great free app that you can use today to watch your calorie intake. In addition to that, on the exercise side, you can download Map My Fitness. I'm on there. My name is Candid Ann. If you want to join me, you know, you can friend me as Candid Ann on Map My Fitness. And Map My Fitness is just an app where you can walk, you can cycle, you just turn it on, and as you're walking, it'll count your calories, it'll count your distance, and it'll keep track of how often you're exercising. And you can join others. If you don't have someone in your area that you can walk with, you can join groups of online people in which you can exercise and walk or cycle or whatever it is. So just those two apps in terms of diet and exercise. MyFitnessPal for the diet, and I think they also might have some exercise on there as well. But Map My Fitness is also a great app that you can use. So those are the two things:
Is it
diet
through
and
Under Armour?
exercise.
Are they
Yes, yes, it's
are
through
they
Under
through Under
Armour.
Armour? Okay, because I pulled it up
Yes,
and I see an Under Armour thing. Okay, so
yes,
this is what it looks like, guys. Map My Fitness, and then these are the two apps she's talking about. Well, I'm on a desktop, obviously, but I'm saying you can
yes.
look them up in your app store, and they're
Yes, so
through
just
Under
those
Armour and
two
Map My
apps to get
Fitness.
started today. And like I
Perfect.
said, Danny, you can go to Danny's page to, that's someone that I know that really, really did it. And like I said, if walking isn't for you, maybe cycling is for you. If cycling isn't for you, maybe I've seen a girl named Bondi Blue. She does like some hip hop dance routine right in her house, and she sweats and she gets into it. But it has to be something that you're going to commit yourself to doing on a regular basis. All right. Danny told you you shouldn't go more than 3 days. I agree with that. No more than 3 days without some
Yeah.
form of exercise. I would like to see people do it 5 days a week, 4 to
Yeah,
5 days
I
a
do
week.
it every day. And even
Yeah.
something as simple, guys, I learned this specifically a couple years ago, but you don't have to do strenuous exercise where you're pushing and pushing your body. If you do power walking, if you can just go around the block and kind of pick up the pace, that is something that you can do like on your lunch break. That's something that you can do every day. I don't feel right if I don't get up and do my walk run, and it just makes my day. It just it's a breath of fresh air in the morning right before everything happens.
Yes.
I like to go out and just get it done, and I don't feel right if I don't do it. If I don't, I'll go on the treadmill in the house or do something with the little cycle thing I have in the house. But once you make it a routine, it just is naturally will help you, but it just makes you feel better. But you got to
Yes.
do it as a routine, and you won't go without it when you make it a necessity.
Absolutely. And those are the two things I want people to diet and exercise. Those are two apps. Join me. I'm on both of those apps as Candid Ann. And yeah,
So
I'm
you
not
can
trying to
join with
lose
people.
weight.
No, you can
Yeah,
join.
you
I
can
didn't
make
know that.
friends. Yes, you can make friends.
Okay, let
I
me
don't
bring this
do
up,
the
guys.
diet
Listen, I
thing
didn't
too
know
much.
that.
I eat a healthy diet, but I'm not trying to cut calories because I'm too I'm small as it is. But if you want to keep each other accountable, if you and another friend are on a weight loss journey together, they could be in London and you guys can hook up and
That's
make
cool.
friends and keep each other accountable. And what's great about that is, like I said, when you're scanning something, you might not realize that people don't need to drink soda at all. Like I don't think anybody at
Ugh,
all should be drinking any kind of pop unless it's ginger ale
I
and you
don't
have
even
some
pop.
kind of, if you're vomiting and you're nauseous,
Yeah, ginger
ginger
ale.
ale
That's
or
different.
seltzer water will help you.
Right.
But I don't think anyone at all needs to be drinking any kind of
That's
soda.
just
But
a
when you
bucket of sugar.
that's
It's
just a
just
little,
pure
just
sugar.
not. But if you scan that soda and you see how much calories, how much empty calories, you might get
Empty.
shocked. You might get
And
shocked.
that's
So
why
I
you get that rush when you eat those bad empty
mhm,
calorie things, and then you just what's that called? It just you lose
crash.
it all. Yes. Yep.
You crash. So yeah, just those two things. And keep it up. You're not too old. You're not too. Um, I understand that some people might have some healthcare issues that you might have to work around. You heard Danny talk about he had like a herniated disc, so walking wasn't for him, but cycling was. Find the thing that works for you. You're never. There's a woman. I think her name is Ernestine. She is the oldest weight. You heard of her? That black lady, Ernestine. She's 85 years old, and she's out there
Oh yeah.
bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You
I seen
know,
her.
she's
Did you see
amazing.
Kenneth and I just seen it on the news today? It was a lady. She started walking at 101. She's 105 now, and she
Wow.
set the Guinness World Record for her
Wow.
age and walking. I don't know what it is,
Wow.
maybe a fourth of a mile or something in a certain amount of time.
Yes.
She started walking at 101,
Isn't
like
that
power walking.
amazing?
So
Isn't that
you no, we
amazing?
can't say anything, guys. Come on, just make one
Yeah.
step and just make a change from this video. You don't have to
Yeah.
overcome the world, but whatever it is for you that you need to do, you hopefully this encouraged you. Hopefully Candid Ann put that blinker in your face, that big stop sign telling you to stop now, turn and go another direction, because this isn't working what you're doing. And that's all we're doing here, guys. We're just giving you information for informational purposes. None of this is medical advice, but this is just somebody coming showing you the pureness of her heart. She didn't have to get on here and talk to anybody. You understand? And the fervor that she had, that she really didn't want to talk about this topic. Like I said, I appreciate her so much that she did it for me, because I could tell the passion when she was talking to me. It's like, no, you need to tell people this. You need to say it. And she kept saying, no, they don't want to listen. But I really thank her, because she did not have to take this time out.
I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate the
Thank you.
conversations with you. You're so
And
passionate about this. And I just really hope none of the ignorance of other people makes you want to stop talking about it. Who cares if they want to hear about trending news and viral stuff? You're going to get a subset of people that want to listen, and they need this from you. So I hope that, you don't get
thanks.
frustrated with us. Not me. I do the right thing, but I'm
Yeah.
saying everybody
No.
else. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure about that comment. I don't know if it's true or not or whatever, but I don't think that anybody at all should be drinking soda. It's just trash. I don't know if
Oh,
it
I didn't even
takes,
read that. I think I clicked on it on
yeah,
accident.
I don't know if it's true or not about the water. I don't know.
And they were
Thank
saying,
you,
thank
thank
you,
you.
stay your course. So, yep,
Thank
my
you.
chat
Oh,
is
on my
saying
channel, I
we
don't talk
support
about
you.
healthcare stuff. I talk about relationships, and
No,
I
she
just talk
doesn't.
about my life, and I talk about like just whatever I feel like it. And maybe
She's
one
just
day I'll talk
candid.
about that. Yeah,
She talks about
I
whatever
have
she wants
candid
to.
conversations about, relationships, about forgiving our parents. I talk about
That's a good one.
forgive the importance of Black men in our lives. I talk about the importance of Black women in our lives. I think I want to talk about the importance of, I forgot what it was. It was something else. As I live my life, I want to talk about financial health. That'll be the next thing. It'll be a short conversation. I'll just be talking on my own channel about that. So I just basically share whatever I've learned. One thing that lead attorney says, if you're over 40, you've learned some things in life. And
Right.
I don't have kids, so I put this information out to share with the world as part of sharing what I've learned to everybody. Right, because I don't
Well,
have
we
a kid to talk
appreciate
about.
you.
So yeah. All right,
We
that's about it. I
appreciate
won't
it.
talk.
No,
Thank
no,
you
no.
for
I'm just
having
glad you
me.
did it. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
thank
took
you
the
so
time
much.
because, like I said, I know you're busy. You have a lot to do on your end, and we made a way. We made a way. So I'm so
Yes,
excited about it,
thank you.
guys. Once again, another great conversation.
Yes, yes.
We have Miss Candid Ann. We have Danny Ruel. We did let Adrian come on the panel. We had one panel person, but like I said, I did want to keep this inside of a time parameter today because I wanted her just to get the information out and everybody listen. So once again, I thank you guys all for this. Thank you, Miss Candid Ann. Thank you for
Yes.
all the support and sponsorship. Oh, I forgot who somebody. It was like two people that did that Cash App and buy me coffee. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. And that is it, guys. So everybody have a great day. See you later.
Take
Adios.